like food, burger, like burger off, like I don't know, food fight, like I don't know, like round one fight. So I'm looking forward to that. And then it'll let me plug the food truck on there as well.
So at what point will we hear Josh's stories of playing for the Puerto Rican national team?
Oh God, like the stories of playing or all the other fun real
Well,
stuff?
anything that you'd want to relate to that.
Oh, how'd you find out? He told you? What did he tell you?
What do you think I do? I'm a producer. I research. I do my job.
He does his job.
Jesus Christ.
It was the 19 and under national team, but yes.
And you played against the U.S.? You had 13 rebounds, 12 rebounds?
Yeah, 13 rebounds in 19 minutes, yeah.
Who's that against?
Gordon Hayward, Little Curry. Those are the guys that made it to the league. A bunch of other guys that were promising prospects. Jamie Dixon, the coach of Pittsburgh, was the coach at the time.
Right.
So their star point guard, Ashton Gibbs, who was way better than Curry at the time. I don't know what happened. Tarico White.
Shooting happened.
Tarico White and Tyshawn Taylor, they bounced around the league for a minute. Those are just the ones I remember. It was 10 years ago now.
Yeah.
Huh. Is Gordon Hayward as good as...
Oh, Tristan Thompson tried to borrow money from me to go see a hooker in New Zealand during the World Championships. So when all that news came out, I was like, not surprised. So of course I didn't lend it to him. I just went twice.
Oh, you went to a hooker twice,
which is completely legal there. I broke no laws. Eat a dick.
Wait,
no, the
prostitution's legal in Puerto Rico.
This is in New Zealand.
Oh,
yeah,
New
this was at the actual tournament.
As he said, the World Championships were in New Zealand.
Yes.
Was it in Auckland?
In Auckland. Best vacation I've still gone on in my life. We were there for 2 weeks, and games were every other day. So, of course, when you're 19, you can, after the game, you can go out drinking, be a little hungover the next day, but then you're fine by the next game. So we were all running around that city like maniacs.
Oh, Auckland is fantastic.
So much fun. I want to go back.
I did a New Zealand, Auckland, and Sydney, and I had ridiculously high expectations for Australia, and it met all of them. And New Zealand still may have been the best place I've ever visited.
For sure, yeah.
I mean, it's magnificent. It's like no humidity. It's always like 70. It's whatever you think San Diego is. New Zealand's the better version of that.
Well,
really?
We went in July, so it's their winter.
Yeah.
Other side of the world, and it was still like got up to like 57. Like it wasn't bad at all. It's not a bad cold by any means.
No, it's in the right place. I was there in the summer, and so it got up to like 73 one day.
Mm-hmm. Oh man, so yeah, we're gonna go and everyone's gonna do a little round of news today, as I like to do. Anyways, hey guys, welcome to Simon Says podcast. With me as always is my trusty producer Jerry, and also today we have Josh, who wasn't here last week. Say hi, Josh.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, guys. President Trump tells the Democratic leaders he won't work with them on infrastructure until they abandon investigations into his presidency. So the guy who, is
that not in itself the perfect example of obstruction?
Right? Like, no. Literally, this guy's like, dude, I've been, I'm vindicated. I've been cleared of everything, but please don't look into any further. Please stop. By no means. I'm like, and like, how do you defend that? Like,
as opposed to a real innocent person who would be like, yeah, look all day.
Yeah, right.
Whatever, who cares?
Like literally, he's basically telling. Like, have you ever caught a child in the act of doing something, and they're like, you just had this look of like,
I didn't know where he was going with that. Like,
I was a little sideways.
We were talking about old politicians caught a child doing what? Where are we going?
Yeah, good point. But no, you ever caught a kid like trying to sneak a cookie or trying to do something sneaky, and you catch him in the act, and you're just like.
I catch myself doing that at 29.
Shaggy made a whole career. Shaggy made a whole career of making a song about this.
It wasn't me.
Wasn't me.
It wasn't me. But I mean, like literally, is that the actions of a man that's innocent? Really? I mean, just be honest.
Does
here.
anybody that's ever achieved that much power been innocent? Come on.
No, not at all.
I mean,
but there's level. I mean, I think more accurately as a person that's not guilty or guilty. Exactly. Innocence, as Josh is right. It's like nobody gets there as innocent, but they could be not guilty of things.
Yeah. So like he's like, hey guys. We're gonna let the bridges and the roads crumble, but fuck everyone else. There are like literally millions of bridges actually in the United States right now that will not pass code.
This is literally the dumbest thing. All the Democrats have to do
keep sending Mike Pence driving on them. I guess.
Well, literally all the you want to explain why the Pence reference?
Oh yeah, Mike Pence his motorcade blocked my apartment from getting to the studio today. I got to flip him off.
And we are where, in case for the people.
Oh yeah, for the people listening, we are in Charlotte, North Carolina. Mike Pence is currently about to go visit a factory and give a speech. I'm not quite sure where. I think it was Monroe.
He's like endorsing a factory or something like that.
Probably opening one,
or just trying to. I mean,
what do they need to do? Print more Bibles?
Probably. Anyway, so yeah, we were late to the studio.
Version?
King Trump. God. But yeah, no. Actually, what did Trump say? Actually, this past week, he's like, we're going to investigate the people investigating me and
just a little sidebar
lock
to that.
them up.
My which version wasn't necessarily referencing and where John went into a particular politician's version. My reference was whenever anybody says that's what the Bible said, but every Bible's a translation of a translation of a translation that's interpreting words from people that didn't speak the original language. So we really don't know what they actually meant. We're just filtered through other people's versions. So you can't really actually say it's the actual Word of God. It's the interpretation of the Word of God.
And never mind the fact that one of our founding fathers actually went and took upon himself to basically eliminate the entire Old Testament and basically kind of got rid of all the I'd say miracles and all the other shit that Jesus had done. And
that would be New Testament.
The New Testament. People were listening. Yeah, everyone kind of forgets that Thomas Jefferson basically rewrote the New Testament. It was called the teachings of Jesus Christ or whatever like that. But yeah, whatever. I don't even know how we're even going.
Shakespeare was involved in like the King James version. Like all the writers of the Elizabethan and early James period were involved in the King James version of the Bible. So I mean, there's always been flourish. But anyway, separate from that, what were you talking about with?
The only King James I know is in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
The only one that matters.
Sitting on his throne, watching everything crumble around him.
Oh, man. This is going to be a great day. Anyway, so that was my news.
No. This is the thing. It's like, this is what I don't understand, that the Democrats, they just need to get word to somebody. It's like, one of the reasons 45 is holding on to the wall issue is because he wants that big giant monument of himself that will last beyond his presidency to say, like, hey, look, I was president. If he literally pays for the bridges and roads and infrastructure, there'll be hundreds of those things named after him, much as the Eisenhower interstate system exists.
Yeah, pretty much.
It would be the 45 reclamation project rebuilding the infrastructure plan that would live forever.
Well, I mean,
all they have to do is like, these bridges would be named after if you pay for them. What?
My name gets to be on everything again.
There's a Trump bridge.
Forever.
There's a Trump bridge.
There's a Trump bridge. Ooh, or Highway 77, the Trump Highway. Oh my God.
Or the repair, or the interchange, or the what? Everything that gets rebuilt.
Sounds like a no-brainer, paying with everyone else's money.
Yeah,
and putting your name on it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Didn't he make a career of that?
He made a career of doing that anyway. Yeah. So I mean, whatever.
Man, whatever works. Whatever gets it done. The ends justify the means.
Just stroke his ego a little bit, and he'll do it. I'm sure. But yeah.
You can't stroke anything on him. He'll deny it. Or pay you not to talk about it.
But for the plug for that.
Hey, thanks. That didn't happen. Here's some money.
For Thomas Jefferson's Bible, it's actually called The Life and Morals of Jesus.
It's a lot cheaper in New
Zealand. The name of that book that Jefferson wrote is actually called The Life and Morals of Jesus of Nazareth. Just in case you guys want to go ahead and pick that up on your, Amazon books or whatever. But it's a good read. Give it a shot. Anyways, Jerry, anything about you? Would you like to discuss? Maybe.
No, well, there is one thing, but we're going to wait for that part.
Wait for that part. Is it anything to do with a certain episode of television that came out
or
this week?
The entire feelings of an entire series looking back upon that? It is interesting that, the announcement that it has been approved for the headquarters move of the Carolina Panthers going into Rock Hill with a building of a new interchange on 77 within the development project, which will include not a hospital, but a medical center, I think focusing either on chiropractic or neurological, I'm not sure which, but something there with a hotel and other industry. They're trying, every owner's trying to emulate what Atlanta Braves did by putting a stadium in the middle of nowhere and then putting shops and businesses all around it.
Yeah,
so it sounds like the NFL is doing more for infrastructure than anybody else right now.
Currently, yes.
Except for the fact that actually Tepper's paying for it himself, isn't he?
Half of they're putting the infrastructure inside the what they're building. He's paying for a lot of that.
Yeah,
and they are getting the tax breaks is over a period of time. But again, they aren't. It's not tax free. It's just lessening what they would have to pay.
Yeah.
But then all the people that would move in and all the collateral businesses and everything around that, they're not getting that break
from all that.
Yes,
but still, that's kind of like what I like about Tepper. He's been basically saying, like, "Hey guys, we're not going to steal your money to build the shit that we're trying to do." I'm completely against subsidizing billionaires to build stadiums and everything around.
Nonsense.
Absolutely.
You remember the Phoenix Suns owner who came out and tried to say that, and some old lady ripped him, and it was
like
all
82.
over sports.
She's been ripping him forever.
It was all over Sports Center. It was beautiful.
I love it. Yeah.
How dare you be terrible for that long and ask your fans to build you an arena?
His name's
Something
Sarver.
like that. Yeah.
Mr. Sarver.
Phoenix.
How dare you?
Like Phoenix deserves a new arena. Come on.
Yeah, right.
And then he's like threatening to move the team and stuff like that. Like,
she's like, "Go ahead, move."
Yeah,
please get the fuck out of here.
But the Panthers went also with that is they haven't specifically said, but it's almost implied that the training camp in Wofford would now be in the
the
Rock
only
Hill.
reason why the training camp was even in Wofford was because of fucking Jerry.
That's where he
graduated from. And it's the only reason why.
And he wanted to make them. We are the Carolina, so it's the two of them, and so the training camp would have been in South Carolina. That happened in Wofford because he went there.
For those of you who cannot see, I'm actually currently giving the jerk off motion.
It's just nonsense that we're the only team that we were supposed to encompass 2 states. Like, just call them the Charlotte Panthers. Damn it.
Well, I mean, I don't mind the whole Carolina thing, but no one in South Carolina is a fucking Panthers fan. I'm sorry, they don't give a shit about that.
Well, I mean,
nobody gives a shit about South Carolina.
No, it's the
Right.
same. It's the same situation though with any fans of a certain age that are in Charlotte. They're not Panthers fans either.
Oh, not at all.
The 30 and unders, or the people that weren't football fans that were around, they did that. But everybody else would either have been the
Redskins fans,
Washington or Dallas fans.
Or Dallas fans because of
because of television markets.
Yeah, markets.
Or
stuff
Steelers
like that.
fans if they chose an AFC, or Dolphins fans,
except
depending
for the
on
fact-
whatever.
I'm a Dolphins fan. I'm from Florida, though. None of us are from here.
Well, no one. I'm from North Carolina originally, but
I'm closer, but I mean, I was born in Virginia.
Yeah, I mean, I actually rooted for the Vikings prior to the Panthers ever existing because my stepfather was a Redskins fan. You know, you're a child, like fuck you. I'm not gonna root for your team, and I'm like, whatever. I'm gonna who's random. Oh, purple, cool. Like, fine. So that's why Randy Moss was my favorite.
I like
player.
Vikings. They sound tough.
They do,
I'll
and
pick
also
them.
Randy Moss. Oh my god,
They threw the ball a lot. That's what I liked about
it was
the
fun to
other one.
watch. You know, I mean, Randall Cunningham, and yeah,
It was Randall Cunningham, Chris Carter, Jake Reed, and Randy Moss.
and Randy Moss,
And then
yeah.
Robert Smith for
And
that
Robert
one year
Smith,
when
right.
they were the greatest offense ever. Until Randy Moss was on another team that became the greatest offense.
Well, no, right after that was that was what 1999.
Well, before
And then-
Moss left, Culpepper was the quarterback for a little
And
while.
then
Yeah.
2
Yeah.
years right after that, though, was the greatest show on turf, and they broke all their records. And then when Randy Moss went to New England, and
they'd set them again.
broke all those records again. Anywhere Randy Moss went, oh man, what could have been? Oh well, greatest wide receiver of all time, aside from maybe Jerry Rice, but that's another discussion.
Played against him in a 3-on-3 basketball tournament he had over at Stacks, too. Super athletic still. Can't shoot to save his life.
Oh really?
Yeah.
I'm
He
not
was
shocked
high
by
school teammates with
Jason Williams.
Jason
White
Williams,
chocolate.
yeah, White chocolate.
Wheeling, West Virginia.
I think Randy was actually West Virginia Mr. Basketball.
I think that's right because he was, and I think that they were a year apart, so I think they each were able to get that. But they won state championships together, and then oddly, both of them have the Marshall connection, ending up there because Jason Williams started at Florida and then had to transfer back to Marshall. Randy committed to Notre Dame. Couldn't get in because I guess it was a marijuana thing or some whatever outside of that.
Then it was like Florida State,
Then
wasn't
he
it?
went to Florida State.
Yeah.
Then there was a on-campus fight, and then that sent him back. And then he went to Marshall. Clemson one year was 6-6 in football. 3 of their losses were to Virginia Tech, who lost to Florida State. Florida State, who won the national championship, and Marshall. Those 3 teams had all of one loss between them.
It was crazy how the 2 best wide receivers of that generation, the schools they went to, Marshall and Tennessee Chattanooga with Terrell Owens.
And Terrell Owens,
Small
and even going to Jerry Rice, Mississippi
Valley State, right? Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't go to Open School either.
Jerry Trudy was his quarterback. I think Trudy was the last name of it. I can't remember his first name.
That name sounds familiar.
But it's ridiculous, yeah. And then Steve Largent, I guess, might have been what was he? Oklahoma? No, Tulsa. He went to Tulsa.
I've been to Tulsa. There's nothing there. We played against them one year when I was at App State.
The Golden Hurricanes. They had a history of who was their coach then? Because they've had a history of having good
man.
coaches
I don't remember at the
going
time.
on.
This was like 8 years ago.
I'm trying to think. Because Bill Self had been there, Tubby Smith had been there.
Tubby.
Lots of coaches who've gone on to accomplish things have gone through Tulsa in short periods of time.
Well, anyways, so hey, Josh, anything you'd like to discuss prior to before we get to throwing stuff?
But I think that'll be a huge benefit to South Carolina. Many people who live in Fort Mill are all concerned about all the traffic and the growth, and it's like, do you remember when we grew up and all we had was a Hardee's and we had to go to Pineville or Rock Hill or Charlotte for food? It's like, get over yourself. We have convenience. This is great. That tax income's going to make all of our stuff better.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens with that. And I mean, hopefully they actually start doing training camp there.
Well, that's the thing. They're almost assuredly do that because that's what will give them, because that's when it's mostly open to the fans, so that way they can get more either in parking or collateral. People go down and they'll have team shops probably there. They'll have restaurants and things. So that's where it'll benefit him because he'll be the leaseholder of whatever's down there. So that's what I was getting to before is like training camp almost certainly move down there.
Yeah.
And that's obviously where all their weekday practices will be. Because it'll open up the facility without having the players have to use the locker rooms and practice there for more concerts, more events, and more everything else, which is another thing that Tepper will want to do. It's like that's what I said. Everybody's like, oh, he's going to move the team out of the city. It's like, one, no. And two, he's going to find out, wait, I own this building? He was a minority owner at Pittsburgh, and it was publicly funded. And Friday nights were high school football, Saturday was the Pitt Panthers, and Sunday was the Steelers. The field was shredded, and they had to share it with whatever the municipality wanted to do with it. But now that he came here, it's like, wait, I own everything? I can put anything in here and make money off of it? He's totally going to do all that.
Well, did you see the first thing they tried to do? Where was that beer fest, and it was allegedly like a mishap.
It was a huge.
The
but also the
thunderstorm.
rain. That thunderstorm kind of ruined it even
And then
more.
the lightning.
But apparently, the way they don't.
They've had another one. They've had one before there previously, haven't they?
I think that was the first one they've ever done because it was Charlotte's largest beer fest.
Or maybe inside.
they had done something kind of like that,
Yes.
similar, but it wasn't quite
Not
the same.
the beer fest,
Yeah. But I like Tepper.
We're going to get an MLS team because of it.
We're going to get an MLS team because of that. And the only thing that sucks is that I'm not going to have an excuse to go down to Greenville and go to the Beacon anymore, which I don't know if you guys have ever had a chance to go there. That's a South Carolina staple.
And just in case you were wondering if John has actually ever stepped foot in South Carolina before, obviously not, because everybody from there
Goes there.
knows that. They know about Charleston and they know about the Beacon.
That's about it. That's all you need to know. I mean, that's what else is in South Carolina.
Well, in any other small place you stop on the side of the road that serves barbecue, you'll be all right.
It's true. Well, yeah, literally, if you find a shack serving barbecue in South Carolina, you should probably go. It's probably going to be amazing and cheap. It's some dude who's probably been doing it for 40 years.
Taught by their grandfather.
Yeah. That's amazing. Actually, one of the best barbecue spots is on the way to, I believe, Columbia. I forgot the name of it, but it's amazing. Why am I sweating bullets right now?
Because you're thinking of barbecue.
Barbecue.
Yeah, absolutely. Me too.
It's pre-meat sweats.
It is pre-meat switch. I have pre-itis.
How much would I eat if that was in front of me?
I've eaten so much food all day today already. It's nonsense.
My friend of mine went for July 4th would do an actual pig picking, get a whole pig and roast the thing.
Those are the best.
From about 3 o'clock on, where everybody was kind of done, I'd just stand next to it and just start scooping stuff into cups. Just keep going over and over and over again.
Mines.
I don't even want to know how many pounds of barbecue I'd eat in one of those days. It's a weird choice, though, when you get that, because it's like, do you want it with the head or do you want it without the head?
No, I want to look it in the eyes. That's how you know it's going to taste good.
Well, that's the thing, though, is like the first time we got it without the head, and it was like weirder, just having that cavity where the shoulders, and it's like, this is, no, can't do this. We gotta have the head to know this. And then, it was like, well, hey, buddy, nice work. Good job there.
I know growing up in some parts of Florida, like once you get north of Fort Lauderdale, Florida starts to get real weird.
Yes.
Like, north Palm Beach, really. So, like, Miami, Fort Lauderdale, and Palm Beach are pretty much the kind. I mean, I'm not going to call Miami normal, the normal parts. But once you start going north, you start getting to the weird parts where you start getting the country Florida people.
Yes.
This is where you hear all those "it happened in Florida" stories, like
Yes.
90% of them. And they used to have people like sitting on the side of the road, be like, "Yo, say you this, say you that," and they one of the big common meats they sell is they will sell you raccoon. And now this isn't the weird part. The weird part is. The raccoon was the prize. That's what people wanted to buy. They said, they'd have to serve it to you with the head on it because people will sell you a dog or something.
Oh, God.
Yeah. So you knew it was going to be weird when it was like, no, we want the raccoon, please.
No, we'll want the raccoon. Or we need to see the head.
Yeah, exactly. Don't trust it. I've seen Cocker Spaniel before.
Yeah. That's the interesting thing because and I mean that part, the middle part of Florida and the peninsula underneath Alabama is that's the South.
Yeah, for sure.
When they talk about
you know what they call the peninsula, right? They call it L.A., Lower Alabama.
Yeah, Lower Alabama. Yes, I've heard that.
I went to Panama City Beach for a spring break twice, and well, luckily it's overrun with people that aren't from there.
Isn't that also the Redneck Riviera? Isn't that one of the other?
It's got many nicknames that really do it justice.
L.A. is a good Lower Alabama.
Lower Alabama, L.A.
But it's what, over the last 20, 30 years, the people would get the boa constrictors as pets or the pythons.
I had one of each,
and they would get rid of them, so they just take them to the Everglades.
Yeah, that's a thing me and my buddies were talking about the other day. It's like, so they don't have predators.
Right.
Like these things, they even eat the small crocodiles and shit. They are like overrun, and it's thrown the entire ecosystem like all the way off. The Everglades is a madhouse. I was talking to actually one of my buddies about like a week or two ago. I was like, dude, when I was in like 6th grade, we went on a field trip, and what they took us marching through the Everglades.
Oh my God!
And so but look, you're in 6th grade. You're like 12. When you're 12, you have no idea what mortality is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, oh, you're invincible. Crocodile, come here. And so, yeah, I'm thinking about it later. I was like, dude, my dad signed a piece of paper for me to do this. And everyone's parents did. That's how normal, I guess, it is in Florida. And I recall walking knee-deep in water, seeing things that could kill me.
Well, that's what the thing is I guess about, I'm saying 10 years. It's probably been 20 years where the python and boa constrictor situation got so big that they would allow like a month of a hunting where you could get your license for that.
People were like getting paid to go kill these things.
Yes, and like you come back, it's like
snake bounty hunting.
It's like because I looked into this because it's like I wanted to get the license, even though I'm not going to go down there. Just like, oh, I'm a licensed boa hunter.
Just something to put on a resume. It looks great.
Because I think it's like $20 to do it, and you would get like $500 to $1,000 for each one you collected and brought back. And it used to be just like a week a year and then a month a year. And I'm wondering if it's just like year round. I think the only limitations is they don't want you in there when like some of the other animals are doing things that they need to do.
Probably like breeding and
it's still around with that.
So, quick question: are people talking shit or are they asking questions? Because actually, apparently, people have been asking us questions to actually talk about things when we're doing this live.
Well,
oh, really?
Yeah, they're like, "Hey, talk about this." I'm like,
Isn't the green though mostly just like people like, hey, somebody's watching?
Yeah, and also, but sometimes you'll see messages there, and I'm actually
usually it's just our friends making fun of us.
Well, no, typically, yeah. Or my dad saying, "Talk about Iran." I'm like, "No, I'm not talking about Iran, Dad. Calm down."
No,
he's like, "Can I phone in and talk about Iran?" I'm like, "No, Dad, we're not going to talk about Iran."
We already got in trouble for talking about North Korea. Okay,
I ran away from that topic. I'm not going to talk about it.
Yeah,
Iran. I ran so far away.
Well, I guess.
Pick up your phone. Look, see what they're saying. If there's anything.
Pence is, I guess, causing another delay because Rachel's running late.
I mean, you can see if they're asking the questions using your phone as well.
That's what I just asked them to do.
I'm not quite sure. Maybe.
I'm sorry. I pulled a Simon there, not paying attention to what somebody else said at the table.
I know.
Whoa! I pay attention to what you guys say.
I know he can do it because I see it on my phone all the time.
I pay attention to you people.
Rachel can be as late as she wants. She's getting us Gatorades to save our lives.
Oh my god!
Well, save my life. I'm still dying.
It's a little warm down here. We're in a basement, so.
Well, typically it's not bad, but because of the potential thunderstorms outside, the humidity's racked up, so then it's making it a little.
Oh, there we go. There's some news.
More here.
Spin-off movies from Lucasfilms are done. They're not going to do anymore.
I saw that.
I'm sad, man.
Solo wasn't bad.
Solo was good.
And Rogue One's one of my favorite Star Wars movies.
Rogue One may arguably be the best Star Wars movie.
It is. And I just, the fact that, like, I was literally waiting there the whole movie. I was like, they all have to die, right? They all have to die, right? And then when they did it, I was like,
oh, God, they did it.
Yeah.
Disney gonna let them kill them all? Oh, my God, they did.
That's what I was thinking the whole time. But because that's the thing. Like, sometimes the predictable ending, if done right, is still the right ending.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Compared to what happened this past weekend?
Trust me. Trust me. I'm going to segue into that 13 times so you let me yell about it.
The other things, actually, I think that's really good news, though, about the...
No, we deserve a fucking Ewan McGregor
Obi-Wan
movie.
Or maybe just give him an arc in another kind of trilogy.
We deserve him to be Obi-Wan again.
As I get to finish the rest of that, because now it allows those things to be on Disney Plus. Instead of having to cram all of that in maybe 6 hours over 3 movies or 1 2-hour movie.
Like 6 1-hour episodes, because a
have
lot more.
Some miniseries type of thing.
Like a lot of times miniseries come out better because they just have, you know how hard, like, it's hard to cram so much stuff into a movie.
And what I like is that they announced the director whose resume for the shows that she's directed for the Falcon and Winter Soldier is ridiculous.
And I love that Daniel Brohl's coming back to play Zemo. That's going to be really good.
And Sharon Carter will appear in that. But that's 6 episodes. So it's not like they're held to 10 or 13. It's like, no, we got.
They're going to be an hour, right?
Yeah.
Well, that means,
that means they can. Look, they are not going to waste Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan because that will get people to sign up for that. Not that everybody isn't already signing up.
It's like $7.
Yeah, but everybody will jump on that too. It's like, I'm not going to do that. Screw these guys. Ewan McGregor announces Obi-Wan Kenobi. Take my money.
Yeah, no, because I just read a thing on Market Watch, and they're like, it was the title of the article said Netflix has 175 days to get their shit together. Because guess what? The moment Disney Plus comes out, that stock is going to plunge.
Well, this is the thing that
because right now Netflix stock is actually trading higher than Amazon stock, which is insane in and of itself. So like they're like, guys, they may have created the market, but they're not going to end up running the market when it's all said and done, thanks to Disney, because they have content. They're actually Netflix is in the red. Like they're spending like 10 to 12 to 15 billion dollars.
I'm pretty sure they just approved going another $2 billion in debt.
Well, we found out that there are about 149 million subscribers. And so you can figure out the math and everything with that.
It's almost half the country.
Yeah. Well, that's a
worldwide
worldwide thing. So that's everybody. Because it's like particularly everywhere. There's the subscriber and then there's the other 4 or 5 people that are on it as well.
I saw a meme and it said the guy who pays for the accounts and it said Parasite 1, Parasite 2, Parasite 3, Parasite 4.
That's me who's paying for the account.
Thanks, Dad.
But no, it'll be interesting to see what happens because now Hulu, they already own 60% of Hulu, and they're gonna have the opportunity to outright
70. They own 70% of it now, and they've already made
they had the opportunity to they already made an agreement to basically outright own Hulu in about by 2022 they had the option to 2021 I think,
but I think they're gonna have complete control over it by next year.
And they're saying that Hulu is already the second largest streaming service.
Yes.
They're getting into live sports too.
Well,
yeah. The reason why they're doing it is because people are cutting the cord. People are not watching cable anymore, and more people are like, so ABC / Disney / whatever.
No, they're doing it because Amazon started doing it. So Hulu is like, we're not going to get left behind. So they're making their move.
No. What I'm talking about is for Disney, who owns ABC and ESPN. More and more people cutting the cord means less and less people are actually able to watch.
ABC doesn't matter.
It's
broadcast as opposed to all the cable channels.
No, but they're still losing viewers in general.
Well, but even if you cut cable, you get your antenna, and ABC exists.
Who's going to have their antenna?
And now ESPN wants everyone to have ESPN Plus, which is the only thing they're showing any of the UFC fights on, which is pretty boring.
When everybody went to digital and HD, a lot of people cut cable they either buy their series off of iTunes or get Netflix, and then they get their HD antenna, and all they have the regular sports and network show or broadcast shows. So I mean, they didn't lose anything. So there's still people that are like, it's like, I can get all of this content because it's free over the air. But the big thing is the sports, and I think this is where Disney has realized what they're doing. Like it's a $5.99 or $4.99 for ESPN for not all of their content, but a lot of sports. Is that eventually that'll migrate to Hulu? So Hulu will be the home for the R-rated movies, so like Aliens, Predator, all of that stuff that Fox has that doesn't fit the Disney Plus family thing will go to Hulu. And then also sports. I think that's where sports will eventually end up. So they'll have the two of them. They'll do like what they did, Hulu and Spotify, the joint. You get one, you get the whatever.
You get one for $1 or whatever.
But they aren't. I don't think they're going to merge in any way because they'll want to keep those separate branding things. And also it allows.
Oh, they're never going to merge. But they'll definitely run package deals where you're able ESPN Plus, Hulu Plus, and Disney Plus for like say $15.99.
I'd like them to get that quicker because I already am paying for Hulu. So if I can cut down that $4.99 just a little bit,
that'd be great. Because I'm not even paying for ESPN Plus. I don't even give a shit about that. To be honest with you,
that's work related. That's all a write off.
True. Maybe we'll see. But no, between that Falcon show, I mean, do you think they're going to end up turning Falcon into what? Is he going to be Captain America?
Well, he'll have the shield.
Falcon? Is he going to have the shield? I mean,
wait. Is this post?
It takes place after.
Okay.
Yeah. So is he going to end up just being, I mean, he's got the shield.
The shield will probably go back and forth between because there's going to be a period of the worthiness feeling. I mean, it's not towards Hammer, but there's still it's like he might feel it's like, well, Bucky, you've known him in this, and Bucky's like, look, I've killed tons of people.
Well, technically, Bucky got the name White Wolf from the Wakandans, though, so he's already kind of another character.
Yeah, he is. So,
yeah,
I mean,
that's another character.
And I mean, I went and saw the movie again actually on Monday. Finally saw it on IMAX. By the way, if you haven't seen that movie in IMAX, holy shit!
Did you see that 5-minute Godzilla scene that I was telling you about?
Did you not? I was actually giving you a play-by-play of that scene.
That's what I was saying. That's what I saw the opening night, where it was just like a 3-minute scene, and then the trailer, and you're like, "This is amazing."
Yeah, Dan, it's on IMAX. If you go see Infinity War in IMAX at AMC up in Concord, they do a 5-10 minute long.
It felt like forever.
King Ghidorah unveiling, how they unveil him.
It's already on YouTube. I've been avoiding it because I want to see it on a better screen.
Oh no, yeah, don't watch.
No, don't watch it on YouTube. No. Get to watch it on IMAX. I have to see this movie on IMAX. This movie looks amazing.
It's definitely looking like a Thursday night thing for me.
No. I'm gonna see Thursday night IMAX.
There have been parts of the year I've been flip flopping all year. I'm more excited for Endgame or more excited for Godzilla? Which one am I more excited for? And you told me I was crazy, and now all the reviews are coming out, and it's just.
Oh, how about this? You know what's actually now that we're actually talking about reviews,
he was wrong and he changed the subject.
No. The review embargo for Aladdin doesn't lift until today. And generally speaking, when you have a movie that's coming out from Disney, when they don't release the reviews, like.
Trash.
2 weeks is trash. That's why it was Dumbo.
When does Aladdin come out?
No.
Friday.
No.
Already?
The I know it's Memorial Day this weekend.
Right.
The typical review thing is 48 to 72 hours ahead of time for like across the board. Now Disney whenever a bigger thing like Black Panther, Captain Marvel, or the big Avengers movies, they'll release it earlier because they want to get the word out more because everybody's like,
well, no, they didn't release,
is it going to work? Is this going to work?
They didn't release the reviews for Endgame till the day before.
Well, that one
because of spoilers.
Because of spoilers. But Infinity War, they let things come out.
Because some assholes out there, their idea of reviewing a movie is literally just breaking down the entire
telling
you just tell you what happens, and you're like, that's not a review. You're just doing a breakdown. That's an asshole thing to do. I stop reading.
You're doing a recap.
And yeah, you're doing a little recap. Granted, I love Kevin Smith. That's how he reviews his movies. But I don't watch his stuff until after the fact. I
watched his hour and 10-minute review of
I love his
Endgame.
reviews.
It was fantastic because he was like going through and he was getting plot points wrong and who did things.
It's so
and
much
characters.
movie. He forget things.
But the thing is, the thing
he's also a stoner. He's like high as shit when he's
doing
doing
it. That though is like about 40 minutes in. It says I could be completely wrong. I'm an old stoner. I have no idea what's going on.
Yeah, he's like I have no idea what's happening.
But these emotional points are what happened.
Yeah. And he is an emotional guy. Have you ever watched his? He did a review for the season finale of the first episode, last episode of the first season of Flash, and he literally starts to break down crying in the middle of his reviews because he's such an emotional man. Like
he ended up directing an episode of that.
Yeah, no, he's done several. He's done Supergirl, Flash. I don't think he actually directed anything from Arrow.
He hasn't from Arrow.
He's not dark enough to do that, but he's getting his own. A Buckaroo Banzai. He's getting
well, he's right in the middle of Clerks 3 right now.
Well, no, he already finished that, but no, they're giving a Buckaroo Banzai show. And I think he's doing something for Marvel, too. He's show running something. I forgot what it was, though.
It might be one of the cartoons.
I think it might
Howard
be
the Duck. Was it related to Howard the Duck?
Yeah, I think he's doing Howard the Duck.
He might be involved in that.
That would be great.
And by the way,
I think he and Patton Oswalt are involved in that.
And I finally actually got a chance to see Howard the Duck come out with the
machine gun.
With the
big giant
Tommy
gun thing.
I text my buddy who went to go see the movie, like, hey, watch out for Howard the Duck. He goes, huh? I'm like, just watch. He's going to be behind the Wasp. That's fucked up. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see. But
It'll be a great sequel.
Yeah, we're literally trying to kill time before Rachel shows up. So
she said she should be here in 1 minute.
So we
be there in 5.
Start talking about what happened this past weekend.
Yeah.
How do you feel, by the way? Just 2 words.
Well, he already came in knowing it was going to be shit. He's been saying that for weeks.
Well, no. Did you ever catch wind? Did you ever find that Reddit thread that actually this guy came out? I guess apparently the script.
I told you 3 weeks ago. That
no. I know you did, but I didn't realize that what had happened was that the entire script actually leaked last year.
No, I didn't see the script.
No. The script for the last season leaked online last year. No one knew if it was real or not. Apparently, it was real.
Yeah, that's why Vegas had those odds, right?
Yeah, literally. Because, dude, come on. I don't want to talk about.
We're going to wait a few minutes.
We're going to wait a few minutes.
Just know we're all pissed off.
Yeah, a little bit. Hold on.
I'm beyond that now. I'm completely at the disappointed level. It's like I'm going to read the books because I'm invested in the theories and the stories, and hopefully that those things will be involved. But for the show, I'm just like I'm just like meh. I saw it.
Yeah, but you know what?
That ending.
We have the first 6 seasons, and that we can cherish those first 6 seasons.
The 7th one's really not bad.
It's not. They were able to.
It's a lot more.
They were able to skirt. They were able to skirt some of the issues that became exorbitantly bad in the last one by getting to some of the moments that we needed to see that took so long. And so it was like a lot of the reunions that happened and a lot of things in 7 were emotional releases and good, things are starting to move forward. But again, the North of the Wall episode, as fun as it was, there was a lot of things. It's like, why did all this happen?
Yeah.
The only thing that bothered me was how they got that big ass dragon out of the water when they can't swim.
Of all the things, they literally show you when they come up on the lake. It's one of those barge rope situations where you have the barge and you pull across the chains to move you across.
Where did they have those chains?
You see it. Those were the chains that went from one side of the lake to the other, and the barge is.
So these zombies know how to dredge a lake.
Well, but they don't because it was a pulley system. Like the normal people that would have been there to cross it, they brought the chains across and they would pull the chain, and because you're on the water, then the boat would move because that's where you are. And they show that in one scene in the foreground, and so it's going with that. And it's like, oh well, the zombies can't swim. Of course they can't. They just plopped down to the water, grabbed a hold, hooked them up, and whatever. But the thing is, he didn't need to do that. He could have. It might have been cooler. He raised him while he's above, and then he boom, flies out of the water. That might have been
way cooler,
a lot more interesting than the eye thing.
The eye thing was kind of cool.
But the thing is, as soon as you saw him pulling it up, you know what's going to happen. If you see him just standing there, like raising the other dad, and then all of a sudden, whoop, this guy comes up. You're like, what? it.
Yeah, that would actually
That probably would have been way more expensive.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, they did.
because they had to combine water and the dragon, and
Just
that was
Bursting out of the ice and the water, and then just.
What kind of producers want to reject budget? I don't even want to talk about that.
They're
right
busy
now.
writing Star Wars.
no. At the time when they made that decision, they were all in on Confederate, where the South had caused a stalemate, and then for the 200 years after, the North never bothered to go. It's like, hey, you racist bastards, we're gonna go ahead and take this out.
Yeah, we're not making
That
it
was
anymore.
the idea that they said, no, we're gonna shut this money down so we can save more money for that show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, 13 episodes to take care and yes. Oh, God bless you.
Yes.
Well, can duke it out for which flavor?
I don't care.
I'll just grab.
I don't care.
Yoink.
All right.
Actually,
Just pick one.
Davy Bird and Drum Elves.
What?
John's latent homophobia came out when he chose not the pink drink.
I wear pink all the time.
What color are you wearing now? Not pink.
I can verify this. He orders vodka cranberries sometimes, so
I
it's
do
not
that
against
too.
the
Never
pink.
order vodka cranberry.
I order
You're
vodka.
shit-faced, you do.
I order
That's
vodka
how I
soda with
gauge your
cranberry.
drunkenness.
Vodka pineapple, so I'm fine. I got nothing to prove.
All right, so I heard us talking about budgeting, and
We haven't actually spoken about it at all.
We've been actually kind of waiting for you to show us so we can
bless.
finally do it.
Okay, because
we haven't even said the name of the show
Yeah,
yet.
we haven't even.
Bless.
No, we haven't even done that. We just started talking about
I was
dragons.
like, nobody
and-
responded to my text message. That means they're fucking.
No, we all we've done is talk
Josh,
about.
use your Thor hands on that, please. I need caffeine.
All we've done is actually discuss
even sure this
disappointment and.
Oh, so disappointed. I almost threw shit at my TV. It wasn't even my TV.
I got drunk for 2.5 days after that shit.
Before we
did,
get
I was
into
there.
before we get into full discussion mode about this, we need to go all around and just say what we thought about that and
No,
everything.
in 2 words. I want 2 words. I want you to describe what you feel about. Finally, we're going to say the name of the show.
Let down.
That it.
This is my reaction.
Thank you. You're God right now.
Mine was fuck off. Really, fuck off. How about yours, Rachel?
Horse shit.
Dragon shit.
Dragon shit.
Daenerys shit.
Oh my god, dude. Okay, so
I could do the death metal girl. Okay,
can I go and
Did
just talk about the whole?
I not tell you? Did I not tell you how disappointed you would be?
Can we go and just start? Can we just go and talk about her Kim Jong Il moment?
That wasn't
Oh my
bad.
fuck. No, okay. Like everything until she opened her fucking mouth
Yeah.
was dope about that scene. The whole
Oh,
like
the
her
dragon
walking
wings.
through the
Well, no,
archway with
they-
the dragon wings
there was-
perfectly
He's talking
lined
about
up.
the bells.
That is literally the only fucking kudos I will give Benioff and Weiss on this entire episode.
it was
is
kinda
just
cool.
that beautiful ass shot.
I
right
really
there.
like Tyrion telling her to fuck off, though. That wasn't bad.
Oh yeah, him like
Hold on,
throwing
but
a little
no,
pin.
no.
Yeah, when he
Sorry,
threw his
second.
thing,
Oh,
I was like,
so good.
go Tyrion.
Hold on, they lacked subtle. Like there was no subtlety in that.
No,
Like,
no, that was the best written moment of the entire show.
That exchange right there.
with him just looking up and then like, you know what this means? It's like, I don't care. This is how I feel.
This has nothing to do with me
But every
anymore.
time they strung along more than about 5 words in a row, it just
it fell apart.
The star of the show said no words, Drogon.
Right.
But his ending still made no sense.
Okay, can I also
You
talk
mean
about
a
it?
dragon? Hold on, time out. A dragon can suddenly understand symbolism.
Yeah,
No,
that's
either-
what
I
I
think
said.
the smartest or dumbest.
I was gonna say, I think they're like, we didn't give them enough credit throughout the seasons for actually having like autonomy and like minds of their own, because he very much had like a Simba dad moment, like all the memes.
Well,
are
it was a
suggesting.
Simba dad.
So you're saying
moment.
Rhaegal did not see the Navy that was standing down there? They wouldn't be looking around for he.
Let's not even bring up the fucking Navy and Rhaegal right now, because I'm gonna lay into Bran's ass for it.
right?
Maybe Rhaegal means retard. I don't know.
Well,
His last word. I mean, the last.
I can't remember the Benioff or why. I don't know which ones, and I don't care to learn. Which
It doesn't
one is
matter.
which.
You can just click.
In the
Please say
post,
asshole
in
of
the
production.
post show of the bells, they say, "Well, Danny forgot about the Navy." Literally, the first scene, the
She
last scene
torched
before
the
that-
Navy in the first scene.
That's not even that. The moment right before that in the bells, where they're talking about their
strategy.
resources, and they're breaking down. It says, "And the Iron Fleet is here."
And it's a big fucking coin that they slap on the table.
Well, did you not see that one video where basically they're making fun of how they were trying to break down the episodes by trying to explain away,
And then
the
there are
plot,
contradictions
and there are
to later-
contradictions in the actual show. Like, what are you fucking talking about? Like,
no, I like the one especially when I know what you're going to talk about because I think I sent it to you. Hold on.
Yeah, you did.
Let me finish chewing my banana.
The one that I like the best is where it's like, if you hear the bells, it means they're surrendering. In season 2, Davos is like, bells don't mean surrender.
Yeah,
He
no.
literally says that. in
Yeah,
the
no.
show.
What the fuck are you talking
No, my
about?
favorite one though was when like Benioff and Weiss are like breaking down, and I forget which. I think this was season 6 when it was Samuel Tarly's father and brother were captured.
Season 7. That was
Season 7. That's what it was.
When him and Dickon got burned to death.
Yeah.
I wanted an excuse to say the name.
I know you did.
Yeah, he's exactly what he wanted to
Rick
say.
on,
But there she's
Dick on.
So before they even show the scene of Danny standing slightly up on the rock, like either bend the knee, or like I'm going to torch you, it cuts to Weiss talking about how she's already. First off, the fact that they always go, well, I don't think she wanted to, and well, she did it, and it's like, well, hold on a second, you're writing this fucking character. Why are you talking about it like she's like an actual entity? That's my first gripe about them, among many. Second is, so she's standing up on this rock, and Weiss is going, well, she doesn't want to be her dad. She knows that in her leadership style, she doesn't want to just torch everybody. She doesn't want to. And they cut to a scene of her going, I don't want to be the queen of ashes. I don't want to rule in fire and blood. And rain it down upon my people. I want to liberate them.
I'm not my father. I'm not my brother.
I'm not my father. I'm not my brother. He wasn't a dragon. I am a true dragon, and strength is forgiveness and all of this stuff, which we know now later is a total contradiction for how she like just snapped like a fucking bitch twig.
Bitch twig, I love that.
Because it was a total bitch flip. Let's be honest. And anyways, but yeah. So then immediately
unearned, by the way, just completely unearned.
It was ridiculous. She snapped and came up with an entire plan to take over the world in like 4 days. It was nonsense.
Well, the thing that was terrible about that is like Tyrion's opposition to the Tarlys being killed wasn't them being killed; it was them being roasted.
And it was his brother dying, not his fucking dad.
Well, the sword thing is like it wasn't like that's not that big of a deal. We can't but that's what the rulers do. That's what happens. Is the leader of the opposition? Hey, this is what you get. Nope. Well, since you led the uprising, you have to die.
Yep.
Genghis Khan conquered the entire known world, and it's like if you rose arms against you, well, you're going to die. But if you surrender immediately, you can have power and be part of the group and going forward.
It's a historical.
That's how it happens.
It's a historical concept. As far as the conquered and being the conqueror and being conquered. Vladimir the Impaler is like one of the most notorious.
Tywin laid Daenerys' nephew and niece at the feet of Robert Baratheon after they were slaughtered and crushed.
Yes.
And it's like, Tywin's like, oh, yeah, he's not crazy or mad. No, he's the most clever and cold and removed and reserved ruler. And Daenerys is making the same decisions that he had made, the same types of decisions throughout time. And all of a sudden it's like, oh, no, these are things that are Mad Queen. No, you're choosing to do that, which is fine because that's what the story you wanted, but you don't ever earn it.
Right.
But instead, the way you do that and everybody reacting, it's like, no, women are mad and crazy. These guys, they're making decisions, and that's okay.
I'm going to vouch for like 45% of
like,
that.
Calm down, lady. It's like, just calm
They
down.
didn't have Xanax in the Westeros, okay? It's a thing.
I'm using. Okay, so first off, how about when who was it? The Stark cousin came up and tried to suggest.
Tully.
They're like, "Hey, how about I'll do it?" And they're like,
and she says, "Like, just sit the fuck down."
Well, it was Edmure Tully, who we haven't seen since season 6. After he
and that was very brief.
After he turns over. He asked Riverrun to surrender to the Lannisters.
I completely forgot about him.
Yeah,
who the fuck is that guy?
Tobias Menzies.
Yeah.
Did anyone see Robin all grown up and like want to be plastic surgery handsome over in the corner?
Everyone's saying he's a glow up.
But
is that titty milk? Is that titty milk?
No, would not. No, 0 out of 10 would not smash. Like especially
apparently some people would, but
well, he's still like 12.
Edmure
is the uncle.
Edmure
is their uncle, and Robin is the first cousin. And also, here's the thing. Apparently, in between Samwell and Edmure is Howland Reed. Howland Reed has got to be looking at Sansa, and it's like, I kept this fucking secret for 20 fucking years, and the first thing you do was burn a goddamn kingdom just so you can be queen, like you wanted to be in the first episode.
She knew exactly.
Jorah would have like murdered her just if she hadn't already been dead by the time like that convocation of leaders occurred. Like, I think personally, if Jorah had actually survived the Battle of Winterfell, I think he would have been vastly disappointed.
Well, I love how people are actually out there saying that Sansa won.
No, she did.
She
absolutely did.
She did, because for like the entire
she
half of the show, she's always been
won.
like the North should be separate. She grew up with Ned being like the North should be separate. She grew up
That's
with
not my reading at all.
She grew up
she
with
won, but she won by being the dirtiest player of the game.
She was.
She little fingered the shit out of it. Don't get me wrong.
She little fingered the fuck out of it. She learned
She
to
big
little finger.
fingered the
Obviously,
fuck out of it.
She literally goes out there. She planted that seed.
That was a thumb, not a pinky.
When she told Tyrion about John. all that.
That was a total
she knew
Littlefinger
exactly.
move. That was a Littlefinger move.
Well, no,
down.
this is worse. This is worse. So in the post-show thing, it said...
I don't watch
Sansa-
the post-show thing.
I don't either. I read this later. It's like Sansa didn't tell him outright. She kind of alluded to it, and Tyrion had to draw it out of her. So she played Tyrion to get her to admit it. So she knew full well. And also, let's not forget, Bran says when John is like, I'm sorry I wasn't there for you, and said you were where you needed to be. It's like, so Bran knew
the whole fucking
these
time.
Tens of thousands of people would be killed, and he did nothing to stop
Just so
it.
he could be king.
Just so he could be king.
It pissed me off so much that these two kids raised by Ned Stark ended up being such little shits.
And then
Yeah.
I don't remember who.
Of all the Starks that I rooted for at the beginning of the show,
Yep.
I
It was
despise these characters now.
Yeah,
So I don't
Bran
remember
was the villain the whole time.
I don't remember which one of you I texted about this, but I was like, literally, he pulled a Doctor Strange. He went in, he warged and saw all these different possibilities that could have occurred.
Doctor Strange
based-
saved everybody.
Well,
though.
no, I'm saying,
No.
okay, I'm sorry. He's like the evil Doctor Strange, but I'm just saying, like, he went and saw all of these possibilities that could happen based on one person's choice here, there, and another, and literally just found the one option, maybe, I'm assuming, at least a option, that put him on the fucking Iron Throne, or I'm sorry, the double wheeled throne.
He had no intent on wanting to be king, though. It just doesn't. It doesn't. None of it
Bullshit.
makes sense.
No bullshit. Horseshit. His
No.
eyes literally in that scene said,
Oh, in that
why do you
scene,
think I came all this way?
but that's changing everything because 3 episodes before, it's like I'm not Bran Stark anymore.
Yeah, I'm not Bran Stark anymore.
I'm not
I
Bran
don't-
Stark. I'm the
Sansa,
Red
how does
Raven.
Sansa know his dick's broke? I mean,
He
what,
doesn't
what
want
does this
anything.
have to do with anything?
Like,
I mean,
no,
the
it just-
Targaryens weren't, subtle about their
It
incest. The Lannisters
made-
were subtle, so I don't know how the Starks
It
roll.
made no sense. And then the fact that you have Tyrion there, who's a prisoner.
You can't talk.
You can't
You
talk,
can't
and then
talk,
gives this
and then he
big
gives us
fucking
big
10-minute
fucking
monologue.
speech.
Monologue.
And everyone
speech.
listens.
And everyone listens.
Quietly.
And then out of nowhere, Grey Worm has all this power. Like, shut
which-
the fuck up.
That made
Like,
no, like the second Bran was named king, then Grey Worm starts to try dictating terms. It's like, no,
Oh, yeah, like-
you're done.
and they're trying to give away lands that are occupied, by the way, to
do
other people.
Why do the Iron Islands and Dorne, who are sworn to Daenerys, care?
Yeah,
It's like,
exactly.
and also Dorne, who has the history of independence and didn't become part of the Seven Kingdoms until about 100 and something years ago. In the story.
Right.
Why are they like, oh sure, we'll let this guy who has done nothing
Well-
to help us be our ruler and actively backstabbed our queen who we had pledged to support? And it's like, oh yeah, we'll follow them. It's like, why would they? Once the North says they don't want to be a part of it, why does everybody else still want to be a part of
Well,
it?
and then
Exactly.
jumping on that, though, I mean, one of the terms, and I forget which episode this
Well, how about
was.
Sansa saying basically to her
hold on,
brother,
hold on.
fuck off?
Well, hold on.
go ahead.
I'm going back on Jerry's point real quick. I'm trying to like maybe not be so ADHD this episode. One of the terms for the Iron Islands supporting Daenerys was that she had basically alluded to or said that the Iron Islands could be separate.
Yeah, she could rule themselves.
So,
and she also got
so one
them
of
to
my
agree to
favorite
stop
characters.
leaving the island, the mainland too.
Yes. So one of my favorite and also sorely disappointing points was that, okay, everyone's going around to Bran, saying Bran yay, and then, brain fart, Jer. Iron Islands, badass bitch. Yara, God bless. Sorry, this is why I need caffeine. Yara, fucking
Asha in the book.
Yara's one of my favorite characters, and so Yara's going, all right, and then Sansa, as the last vote goes, the North will be separate, and then the dirtiest look Yara gives her of like, I didn't even know that was an option, and I'm like.
Like Edmure wouldn't have jumped all over that. It's like, oh, I'm the Lord of Riverrun. Yeah, we'll be back to our separate kingdom
But
as
you
well.
but you already said so you
no,
can't.
you can easily back it.
No
It has
take
You
nothing-
back.
cannot
Backsies.
back out of eyes because no take
No
seat,
take
no
backsies.
take
Oh,
seat
whatever.
backsies because Sansa before she even said I was like dirty looked to everyone. She was like the North will be separate.
How's Jon Snow and Tyrion even alive? I mean, obviously it's been a few weeks.
How does Bran not save John?
How is John at the fucking wall where he ended up in
Why is
season
there,
1
hold on,
episode
why is there
2?
still a wall?
Well, no,
Well, no,
they
that's-
say
there's no
that.
problem.
They say that. They're like,
Again-
there'll always be a place for
Bastards and broken people.
bastards and broken men.
I think the entire point of the punishment is to send him to nothing. A man without purpose is that's annoying.
Bullshit, he doesn't have nothing. His BFF is a wildling.
Well, no, I mean,
He gets his dog. That's what he
John,
gets.
no,
He gets his
John,
dog.
no, John gets exactly what he wants.
So the story is really
He
just
always
how
wanted
a
to be
man
up there.
unites with his dog. Is that what this whole fucking thing is?
Well, here, I mean, amongst the things, it's like, oh, and the Maester, the book of the wars after the Robert's death, and it's going to be called the Song of Ice and Fire. Why? Why is it going to be on that? There's no reason within the story that anybody would call it that.
How Lord of the Rings?
Well, I mean, no, that's what they
Obscure,
chose.
obscure and unexplained and overly verbose. Yes.
Well, no, because that was. I mean, it's been inspired by that, and they took all of the wrong things
All
off
the
of that.
worst things, yeah. All the wrong
I
endings,
mean,
too.
and
I wonder how
Sam
many
even
times
says
that-
I was able to write the forward. I'm saying,
I wonder how anytime Benioff and Weiss like read Tolkien. I'm not going to give them enough credit to say read Tolkien, but watched the Lord of the Rings trilogy movies
go ahead
and said, "Let's rip off this. That's a really good idea."
It's just
the ending. We're going to take the 50-minute ending from Return of the King. We're going to basically make the last half of that episode that.
It's amazingly funny that everybody was so concerned going into the Battle of Winterfell that more than half of the characters that you are aware of would be dead,
and they all fucking survived.
And then there were four characters. There were four Well, Tyrion alludes to all the people in the room surviving.
Yeah.
And the whole pack survives thing.
Well,
yes,
that's what I've been saying the entire time. Which is a Ned thing going through. But even then, and what happens? The lone wolf dives and the pack survives. And where are they? They're all spread across all.
They're literally all spread apart.
No,
at the very
Sansa's
end.
like, wait, my brother's now king. I want to secede.
That was my biggest problem. That made no sense. The Starks would not be under rule of somebody else. Who's the king? A Stark. I still want to secede. It made no sense.
Well, no. That was so she could have some realm of
No.
control
Yeah,
as well.
no. It was so she could be queen.
That was absolutely so she could be a justifiable queen.
It made no sense. Well, no, she could still be the queen because Bran. If Bran is not going to be anything, then she's the queen regent.
That at the beginning of that meeting, Sansa's fucking face, especially when she told her uncle to sit down, went, "I expect everyone to pick my ass."
And what happened? Her family knew better
than to pick her. So her immediate little finger side move was, all right, the North is separate and Bran can't father kids because his dick doesn't work. I don't know how she knows that.
Hold on, how about
the next in line would be Mike.
It's the end of the Stark line.
Is she older or younger than Bran?
She's older.
Sansa's the oldest, I think.
Of the living.
Of the living, correct, yeah.
It was
Rob.
Rest in
Sansa,
peace, Rob. He was
Arya,
so handsome.
Bran, and then Rickon.
Okay, let me make it go more of a positive direction on this.
Bran and Rickon named after...
the overall direction of the episode was great. The shots, everything they did.
Oh, no, everything not involving the writing.
Yeah,
the score.
Everything outside of writing and dialogue was beautiful.
Oh, the score was amazing.
They're visually and aesthetically pleasing. Kind of like,
watching Sansa put on the dress was actually really cool. The dress that they made for her.
That was really pretty.
The symbolism in the dress and all that stuff was actually really cool. But I mean, like...
As far as the conclusion goes for everyone's quote-unquote storylines, I think the persons
Why did Arya suddenly become a fucking pirate?
Well,
because she said in one sentence in Bravos to the actress that she wanted to go west.
Oh, my bad. Boy.
That's where I was going.
But that's
excuse me, not a pirate.
Foreshadowing is not groundwork.
Why,
well, no, I mean that was literally
she left to discover America.
She looked at what she suddenly
became Christopher Columbus. It was actually Arya that did it.
That's the spinoff. Arya embarks.
Oh no, well no, the
Arya of Arc.
The head of programming at HBO.
But it's not the first character to go west, though.
Everyone else dies.
Well, Grey Room already went west.
Elizabeth Farman came back. They don't know where she went.
Everyone with HBO, the guy who's the head of programming at HBO, already said, "Guys, that's not going to be a spinoff.
It should not.
You're not getting the Arya.
No. It should not be. But yeah, as far as writing goes, and the Stark kids being all spread out, the only person's conclusion of storyline I was happy with was Arya's, and that's because she actually showed semblance of learning. And there was let me finish. I know you've had caffeine. I know I haven't. You're welcome. But her story has continuity over the entire season. Hers is the only character that does. And I see your head shaking, Jared, but I'm gonna give you this because she had this whole throughout the entire series, this whole vengeful attitude when she learned it, assassin, Arya, all that. And then as far as this season goes, we see her kind of, butterfly into the, awesome assassin she is painted to be. But especially in the last 2 episodes where she interacts with the Hound and they talk or don't talk and communicate via snide jabs. And then, at the very end when they're in the top of the castle and they're having, and the, shit's all falling around and the Hound looks at her and goes, "Don't be like me." Mm-hmm. And he was like, "You will die if you go in there." And not only that, but it's like you're in it, not like a lack of innocence necessarily, but like this is where it will lead you to shit like this in another 20 years if you survive.
He was my favorite character.
Yeah, I love the Hound. No, he was great. And you know what she did? She learned and she turned and she ran and she went to the better part of herself and she helped other people and she got the fuck out of there and she talked to John and was like, "This bitch is gonna torch the city."
Hold on.
And then
let her finish.
Let me finish. And then at the very conclusion of this horrible ass final episode, you know what she did? She did the exact opposite of everything that she has done the entire season, which is she has had this predetermined destiny idea of this list. And you know what she did? She fucking ripped the list. Actually, probably had Drogon burn it. And went and said, I'm going to go do something. I don't know what the fuck it is, but I'm going to go figure it out. I'm going to go find it. So as far as like my perception of Arya's storyline, I actually saw tremendous growth of character. She was the only one who's continuity. She could, I mean, they could have left out the whole like I'm a woman now by banging Gendry, you know. Although I guess he's not just a bastard anymore. That's cool. So yeah, the glow up on Gendry was real.
No,
but,
he's been consistent. Do you not remember him in that season 3 when he had the shirt and Arya takes that look at him and she's like, "Oh, Arya just became a woman right there."
Season 2, or sorry, that was episode 2, not season 3, or whatever.
It was like he's there on the sideline. There's that pause and she like looks at him and like, "Oh, well, Arya grew up."
But yeah, but in conclusion, I think her storyline was the best concluded in that, you know, she had this predetermined destiny kind of shit the whole time, and then at the they end it with, we don't know what's going to happen to her because she's going to go off and do the unknown. Where the known has always been known to her.
The steps 1 through 7 and 10 make sense. The problem is 8 and 9 in between, because she used none of her assassin training within the last 2 years. Nothing that she couldn't have learned from the Hound hanging out with him. Jumping out of a tree and just stabbing a guy in the back, whatever.
I missed her. I was kind of hoping in this season she'd do the face swapping thing with Daenerys.
We saw not one face swap thing. The only thing we saw was the pouch full of them that Sansa found. So Sansa actually used the faces more than Arya had. And then the other thing is,
the fact that Sansa learned how to do the faces.
No. She actually held them. That was using them more. She used them more by holding them
used her.
than Arya ever did in the last 2 seasons. And also, when the fuck did Arya listen to anybody? Especially the Hound.
She only listened to the Hound the entire show.
The Hound had been telling her that for 8 seasons
to fuck off.
Fuck off. And now, all of a sudden, when she's literally at the staircase to kill the woman who's been first on her list since the very beginning, and she's like, "Oh yeah, now you're right." That's bullshit.
I mean,
and then after that, there's 5 people in the show that know King's Landing and like her going to help the people. I said, "Oh, this is a good idea." And I was like, "Here, let's go down into the sewers where I know how to get out and save you." It's like, nope, because all of the characters are stupid and they're playing them dumber than the viewers, which is the worst thing. I have no problem with where she ended up. I had no problem that she would realize that revenge is not an end to itself. It was just weird that it's like, hey, this is not the moment. Wasn't telling her that the entire time from King's Landing, and as they're going through and everything else, and only at that moment he realized, oh, by the way, this is a bad idea. You don't want to be like me. We already know that she doesn't want to be like them because
but he never speaks to her passionately in like almost like I think that's what was as affectionate as the Hound ever gets.
But that's the difference in the writing in that is like when they were writing
I know that's not
like,
his nature.
But on the writing when there was like, hey, I'm probably not going to come back, and he knew that now, and that what she was going to do.
But she let him follow. He let her follow her all the way up the fucking stairs and get the farthest point away from the fucking gate, and then be like, "Nah, go back, bitch. You're gonna die."
No,
don't be like me.
But that was the weird part.
In previous seasons, when they
maybe he was conflicted.
In previous seasons, when
he was concerned about Sansa and Arya more than himself.
In previous seasons, when they didn't have the teleportation device that allowed everyone to get around Westeros in 5 seconds. Mm-hmm. When you actually got to watch people ride and talk, and build
the whole
relationships.
Ride the King's Road kind of episodes.
You see them actually build character, establish relationships, and everything like that. Maybe we would have gotten that. Maybe if this season had been 10 episodes as opposed to 6, or last season had been 10 as opposed to 7, we would have had those moments where they actually
make sense.
And the problem is we lost that when these guys basically decided to say, "Hey, fuck the fans, and we're over the show. We're just going to end it as soon as possible, as quickly as possible, and make no sense of it."
I would agree. I got entirely too much of a fuck this, I'm over it, I'm great. I'm great. Like literally, I was trying to talk to my dad. I was trying to explain this. My dad has never watched a single episode of Game of Thrones, and was telling him about the podcast a little bit. And literally, he was like, "Well, how did it end?" And I was like, "Hey, Dad, I was like, because I was like, the ending was profoundly disappointing." And he goes, "Well, I don't understand." I was like, "Okay, when I bitched you about writing a paper maybe 12 hours before it's due, where you get general ideas, you hit all the things you should kind of hit, but it just doesn't quite work and it's not satisfying, so you get that C, low B." He goes, "Yeah." I was like, that was the fucking culmination of it.
Yeah. Well, I think that's the one odd thing is that they're acutely aware of what they don't do well. So they cut out they didn't want to do those episodes because they couldn't write those scenes, because the most important moments of this season when Bran tells Arya and Sansa, when Sansa tells Tyrion, when Jon faces Grey Worm after killing Dany. We don't see those scenes.
I do want to see
because they don't know how to write them.
They skipped all of them.
They don't know how to write
Oh,
them.
no, they don't. I want to see one epilogue scene, though, maybe, where, like, what if Jon hadn't told his siblings?
Actually, I read something on the...
or maybe that's in the books.
On Facebook that somebody came up with the best idea of how the show actually should have ended. And it was actually genius.
Let it rip.
So they have the 3 finishes. And the one thing I did enjoy, when Sansa says, can you ever forgive me? And Jon just says, it's like the North has the leader that they need. It's like, thank God that he didn't. Because he realizes that she at least manipulated enough to get what she wanted, and that Dany was right all the time, that she wasn't backing her. If she was, maybe everything would have turned out different. But as they go through that, and they go through the finishes and the cutting with the dress and Arya getting ready to the ship and Jon going north was all fantastic. And it ends with Jon's going there, and they have the small council meeting, and they're asking about where Drogon is and everything. And somebody said
don't even get me fucking started on that small council.
A great final scene would have been as the gate closes and the wildlings are going, and Jon's out there with Tormund and the wildlings and the wolf, and then Drogon just flies over the top. And then it's like, oh, the last dragon is with the last Targaryen.
Yep, that's what I was thinking.
And they're just wherever, and then that way
we see Jon looking up a lot.
But they already said the dragons hate the North.
Well, yeah, they didn't like it there, and maybe that was just maybe
that
was their intent at foreshadowing that it's like, hey, you're not welcome.
Well, also the dragons were in a stagnant area when
spring was breaking too.
Spring was breaking. They were in a stagnant area. The dragons would probably be fine in the cold of the North because they would at least have free reign of hunting.
And he doesn't have to stay there. He could just hey, come here. It's like,
yeah, he can go do his fucking thing. He's like a
But then that way they know
boomerang.
It's like whenever they need something.
Well, actually, this past season, the
just like the tilt up of the woods as they're walking into it and just keep going, and then the last thing is as you hear Drogon.
I would have loved that. That would have been so. Or honestly, I would have loved also an egret walking out too. Even though I know he's totally fucking dead. I was like, this is where egret pops up.
I mean, they talked about bittersweet. It's like I only got the bitter from that inning. That would have at least been. It's like okay, it's like we get that your terrible intent and take is like. Because Jon gets his freedom because he never wanted the crown, but nobody was ever going to give him the crown because nobody ever knew. Like all the people who knew started dying, and Sansa wasn't going to leak that because she wanted to be in charge.
No,
and they don't address that in any way. And so him going north is just him getting free to go do what he wants to do, which is fine, which is a happy ending for him. But he and the other thing, it's like both the king of the Six Kingdoms and the queen of the North, it's like you can't pardon him. You can't pardon your own brother. You can't do this.
Well, because Grey Worm threatened an all-out war, and
left.
so did Yara. Well, he left because of the agreement. He was like, "You're sending Jon to the wall. All right, fine, we'll go to Knopf."
At the same time, and that boat leaves.
Oh no! All those memes that you were fucking sharing about, like, all right, he's gone. Fuck it, yeah, Jon, you can stay. It's cool. Like,
or
exactly.
It's like he doesn't even have. He could restart the keep of the Ulsters. No, not the Ulsters, but the ones that the little boy that was killed at the northern keep or whatever that was on. He could do whatever. It's like he doesn't have to be banished. They could at least say it's like, hey, you want to go north, you can go north, but you can still do whatever you want to do. If you need to come back, come back. But
I just don't understand why so many people were mad that Daenerys died, especially after hearing that whole Kim Jong-il speech that she gave.
I'm so fucking pissed about her dying and all of that. Mostly,
fuck no, I wanted that bitch to die after. Honestly, I was rooting for her the entire show until
I don't care about fictional people that I don't know.
Well, no,
I don't like how quick it was.
That's my entire issue.
So my
it
biggest,
was very Romeo and Juliet.
My biggest thing with the season, my biggest issue is how the major characters all died so fast, and then boom, that was it. It was over.
Yeah.
Like the Jaime and Cersei death was fucking stupid.
No cathartic
and then the next episode,
agreed.
A dwarf finds them in a pile of rubble, which made.
Did you see the picture?
And it was
30 feet to the right.
Yeah.
They could have survived.
And it was an extendedly long scene. They ate like 5 minutes.
Well,
for
he
that
has short
fucking
legs.
scene.
That's a lot of walking. But so yeah,
you shouldn't talk, John.
The prettiest crushed people ever.
Yeah, so yeah, it was just ridiculous. And then when Dany does all her stuff, Tyrion convinces Jon in a little 10-minute conversation. Then he just goes and stabs her. Drogon, let me light the throne on fire, grab her body, and just fly off. And boom, that's it. That's all that was. You've been following these people for a decade, and like these are the little quick endings you give us.
Yeah, this little like.
I mean, if Jon's gonna have to be the one, he does that. Drogon doesn't. I mean, like again, it's like Drogon understands symbolism for something he's never seen before, and then it's like it looked like he was going to kill. If he killed Jon at that point, it's like that would have been terrible, but it would have been appropriate.
But he didn't because Jon was a Targaryen.
That's what they're throwing at us for us to believe. To buy that reason, which is garbage.
Well, why else would he torch the throne, which is more symbolic than torching the person that killed your mom?
Because it works for the plot, for the viewers, not for the context of
no
the
one,
story.
By doing that, no one ever got to sit on the throne after that. Basically,
they had to pick the guy who already has a chair.
It shows that Danny. If he basically says if Danny can't sit there, no one.
Well,
can.
no, this is the Lord of the Rings situation.
That's what I got.
The throne is the one ring. It's the closer proximity to it, the more it corrupts. And so, as the end of the movie, it gets destroyed.
And Danny is the last one to actually touch the throne too, which was ironic.
It was
much like Frodo,
very
was the last
much Lord of the Rings.
Oh, absolutely, total Lord of the Rings.
Poor Danny. She tried to break the wheel for so long just for the wheels to roll up to the throne.
Okay, all right. Side note,
and roll over her.
To get super technical here for a second, on that note of break the wheel. So I know this is not about to be a string of brand jokes. So my thing
those are coming.
Is her later, dear, later, darling. So her whole thing is break the wheel, right? But her reign by right is part of the wheel. So I don't understand why she wouldn't. I mean, I guess I understand when you're given that, when you accumulate that much power, obviously you're not going to abdicate or anything like that. But maybe I thought that she would be like, I don't know. I expected something more, what's the word I'm grasping for? Something more along the lines of the Daenerys we saw in season 3, 4, and 5.
Well, that's what she was doing, and that's where she was headed to. But then when she got there, then all of the people just were immediately. It's like, I don't want her in charge. Mostly not because they didn't want her in charge, because they wanted themselves.
But she never acknowledges that she's part of the wheel. But also,
she wasn't a part of the wheel because she's not of Westeros, even though she was.
But
born
she
there.
is a Targaryen, and the whole thing is tyrants by blood and
no.
enslavement.
She also said she was freeing people from tyrants while she was just becoming the biggest one of all.
Well, right.
But again,
in a matter of 5 seconds.
This is the bill of goods that they were selling us. Is the everything that Tyrion told to Jon as the reasons why she was crazy were all the things that were being sold to us throughout the entire series as illustrations why she wasn't. It's like, again, fictional people, so I don't really care. And again, Arya is right second on the list for being actual murderers of who knows how many of people. And it's like, oh yeah, complete and utter pass. Why? Because they were bad people. Up until that moment, every piece of evidence that's saying Daenerys was the Mad Queen were bad people. They were the slave owners. They were the people that were going to rape her. They were the people that were oppressing all the people in all of the slave city, Slaver's Bay, which had been renamed because
don't even get me started on Bronn and his ending.
And so it's like there's all of that. So then it's just the one moment that makes no sense, and then to see her reaction as she's doing it, and it's like, nope, we want to move her from that. So the entire time, as we see 40 minutes of people that are living in a city that we haven't cared about, the people that we've seen in a city that have been despicable because of the way that they treat each other, they do everything else, and now we're supposed to care for them because we saw one woman and one daughter get shut out from the door and then went over, and then Arya tried to help them, but completely forgot the sewers and safety to get them out.
Arya, we have to move or we're going to die. Everyone moves and dies.
And everyone
moves and dies.
Smooth. But can we go back to Bronn for a minute? I feel like it's like maybe they felt like they didn't have enough time
Bronn or Bran?
Bronn.
Okay,
yes.
Bronn, asshole Bronn.
I feel like they just had no time for him and ditched all of his character development
all of
and in the last season.
Well, it's a twofer because obviously he can't be in a scene with Cersei, so they had to get rid of him.
Oh, by the way,
no point for him being in
did
the
her and Jaime get paid their £1 million for that last episode?
For just seeing their face.
Dug up?
No, that's probably. I'm thinking this as they're
did.
pulling like the rocks off their face. I'm like, well, that was just for a paycheck.
Well, you got to think. See, all Cersei did was sit up in a room and drink wine for the whole season.
Oh, that was the
she
scream
got
of
20.
the.
They counted it was 25 minutes of screen time.
To just stand there and
as
look
the big
bitchy.
bad, and she didn't even get a chance to drink wine in her last episode that she was in.
Well, she was pregnant.
It did stop her all before that.
Well, that's why they were all retarded or crazy.
I remember one episode. Someone goes, "Is she really drinking wine while she's pregnant?" And I was like, "Yeah, because incest isn't already going to make the thing a mongoloid."
Right.
But and again, everybody's acting like that was a thing before like 1987.
Right.
Yeah. Like my mom definitely drank when she was pregnant.
Martinis and an afternoon cigarette to relieve some of your period or your pregnancy ailments.
That was
definitely
recommended.
recommended.
One of the most amazing amazing things about Mad Men is you'd see all the things that you forgot that have changed in
Yes.
time. It was in the
People just be smoking,
The family's
like,
out there with a picnic and everything, and then Don picks up the blanket, whoof, shakes it off, and leaves every piece of thing there and just walks off. And it's like, oh yeah, that's what we did.
Everyone's smoking and drinking at work and everything.
Oh yeah, the
Playing with
lunchtime-
cellophane bags, no seatbelts in the back seat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jumping from one seat over to the front seat. Yeah.
The good days,
The
simpler
good days
times.
when women knew their place and
Bron-
men were men.
Don't make me make you a sandwich. Don't make me make you a various sandwich. Okay.
There were some
yes.
things that I thought were pretty good. I did enjoy that Tyrion tried to tell the honeycomb and jackass joke again for a third time.
Because he wanted to build brothels.
What was his last? No, that was Bronn wanted to build the brothels. That was his last.
Oh my
line
fucking
of
God,
the
That
thing.
was the last
entire
lines of the
scene
movie.
just
That's the
pissed-
last lines of dialogue from a character other than Queen of the North.
Queen of the
No.
North. That was the last. That was his last line. Queen of the North is the last line. of the
No,
show.
I thought Arya was.
Queen of the North.
Arya didn't say anything.
No, chanting Queen of the North.
The
was,
chance
you're
of
right.
Queen of the North was the last
You're right.
lines of the
Yeah,
show,
yeah.
but the last spoken word from character that we actually give a shit about on the entire show was
Did
honeycomb.
I ever tell you the time I brought a honeycomb and a jackass into a brothel?
Yep, that's the last line.
Oh my.
That's the
third
last
time.
line of spoken
That
dialogue from a
in-
character that you care about on that show.
That okay.
Ever.
That whole table scene.
I
Just
didn't mind it actually.
are you serious?
I didn't really mind it.
You're telling me that the last Game of Thrones episode ever, and you were fucking okay that Benioff and Weiss gave us some shitty
I didn't mind
joke about
Didn't mind
Tyrion feng shuiing, Yoko Onoing the entire room and chairs
At that point,
in slow motion
At
with
that
his tiny
point,
feet.
my
You're
well, no,
actually
no.
okay with they ate up that much fucking screen time for a
What I'm
bullshit
trying
They
to
joke?
spent
say.
20 minutes with him walking through ash at the beginning of the show.
That was the best part.
It was though.
that was the best part.
Sadly, the
Hold on,
best part.
no
You're
no
seriously,
dialogue.
You're
Hold on,
seriously
hold on,
okay
hold on,
with
hold on,
that
excuse
entire
me.
scene.
How about the fact that what happened? All right, so you see Arya ride off on a white horse at the end of the bells.
And then
where's the fucking horse?
At
And why
the
is she
beginning,
still there?
where there is no horse at the beginning.
Stand by, please, before you guys, please, before you, what did I say? You texted me and it's like, oh, Arya's totally going to kill her. The green eyes thing is like, no, they don't have green eyes. Well, people won't care. And so you're probably right. They
But
won't about
Cersei
that.
had green
But
eyes.
I responded back and said, no, they're not smart enough to use the white horse for the death comes following before that. And you're like, they totally are. John totally went in. And it's like, nope, they're not doing it. We didn't even see the horse.
The horse was gone.
Honestly,
They
like
should have had Bran warg it. That at least would have made more sense.
Right. Why
Bran
wasn't
should have
Bran
warged
just
the horse.
To save Arya, he sent the horse.
Yeah,
that would have made
it
sense.
would've made sense.
Bran did nothing.
Bran did nothing except
Bran's the
sit
guy
there
that was
And
there.
let people die.
Yeah, let people die. Bran was there. The
and put
guy.
a Starbucks cup in the fucking scene.
The
I
real
know the
villain.
water bottles too during the council
I saw
scene.
those.
How about Sam out there actually trying to suggest democracy and getting laughed off?
And getting
I-
laughed at.
That was
I loved it.
authentic.
I
That was
loved it.
authentic.
I
loved
did.
it.
I did enjoy that. I was
was
like,
funny.
That was great, actually. I'm like,
Because it scared me for a second. Like, this is really what they're going to do.
like,
Yeah, I know,
oh
for-
my
for a
god,
split second, you're like-
is this going to be a political commentary for a
well, no,
second?
hold on, wait. They're going to actually let the people vote on who's going to become the new.
And Jan Royce was the first one.
What's that? You let the horses and goats vote too, you idiot? Fuck off. I do like that. It was actually kind of funny.
Well, as I'm watching that scene, I'm like, half these fucking people in Westeros don't even know how to read and write.
And how about the new dude from Dorne just sitting there? And you're like, who the fuck is this guy?
Well, this is going back
Unnamed,
to the
no
things,
name.
This is the things that he was referenced by Varys earlier in the season, but that was it. But this is the thing that's really weird about all of that is like, why was Sansa? Sansa was so power hungry and aggressive to getting the queenship that she wanted from the very first episode of the series. But her brother is king of all the kingdoms. Her uncle is the king of Riverrun. Her first cousin is the king of the Eyrie, and she already has like the support of the other people. It's like they don't.
Why she
weren't-
wants to
They
see.
weren't going to ask her to come and do anything. Bran already sees that. Hey, is there any war coming? Nope, no war. You don't have to worry about it. They can rest. It's like this makes
was
no
pointless.
sense. It made no sense other than to give every one of these individuals a happy ending that just felt terribly hollow after everything that we were thought to be coming.
I watched
It makes me feel like all the Stark kids are evil, and Ned Stark was my
Yes,
favorite character.
right.
It pisses me off.
Except for John doing the one thing they
Yeah,
had
the
to.
one noble guy gets screwed.
I know. That's what I
one-
said. Nice
the
guys
one-
finished last.
the
I was so
one-
fucking mad.
The one guy that was most like his non-father.
Yeah.
Everybody was living with the curses of their father, and then
And
he
he was
most
the one that
emulated of not his father, but carried the curse of doing that of following the duty.
So the moral of Game of Thrones is that being a good person gets you banished.
Duty is the death of love.
The moral of the story is that Benioff and Weiss are not going to get a trilogy
Oh
from
my
Star Wars
fucking
movies.
god! If they even touch Star Wars, I will
So
riot.
They are. No,
It's already
they-
done.
That they're
It's a
getting the
done
next
deal.
trilogy.
They have the trilogy.
They have
It's
the next
done.
trilogy. They are going to be releasing the next trilogy.
They canceled Ryan Johnson's, and they.
Well, it
Well,
hasn't been
it's just
officially
been
canceled
scheduled
yet.
differently.
Oh my god!
It hasn't been officially canceled
My internet
yet.
is screaming.
All right.
Are we going to stick with Game of Thrones, or are we going to expand on all things nerdy?
Well,
Or
it
do
was-
we want to keep going?
Well, we can allude back depending on anything.
Well,
else
no,
that's
there's one
happened.
more thing I wanted to wrap up about Game of Thrones too. It's like, so we're all talking about Daenerys and da 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 da, and then I remember watching. I think it was one of the
The
videos I
dragon
sent you
scene
guys.
is literally the best thing.
It's the only good thing about that.
I stopped
episode.
and rewound that like 3 times.
Which
It's like,
one?
When,
The
Where-
wings.
with
Oh,
the
she
wings.
lands
The
and she
wings.
walks forward.
Oh, such
I mean,
great imagery.
It looks great imagery, but a little too
Not bad.
blatant imagery.
I know.
A little
Yeah.
too blatant.
Especially, I just finished watching Lucifer season 4. It's like,
Hey,
Is
hey,
it
for
still
you
any
slow
good?
guys in the
yeah, I love
back.
Lucifer.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, it's a really good show.
Yeah, no, but no, literally. For you
I
slow
was-
guys in the
My
back.
You
favorite
slow guys
crime
in the
show.
back.
That's what the entire season we've been. This last 2 seasons have been steered by guys who are slow, and they're like, "Oh, by the way, we're gonna just beat you over the head with this imagery." And you're like, "Is that really necessary?" Because you already understood. She just literally.
Yeah, but that was just for like aesthetics. That was for
don't
that was for like
care.
an Emmy for like best
They're not
screenshot
gonna
for
get
5
it.
seconds.
They're not gonna get it.
Oh,
They're
no.
not
Oh
getting-
no! For everything not related to writing or the show.
Tyrion-
top notch.
Yeah,
They're-
Yes.
Tyrion made that garbage language sell, and it was tough.
Yeah.
Well, no, Peter Dinklage is definitely going to get another Emmy for that.
Oh,
show.
God bless Peter
the
Dinklage.
real MVP. Oh,
No.
The real
seriously, the
MVP
real
of the
MVP.
entire show.
Is that he kept his job too? He fucked up. He's the weatherman of the show. He fucked up and kept his job.
He did. Like he fell ass backwards into the same position he's been carrying the entire time.
But I can see as soon.
and by the way,
He's like the guy that just keeps trying to get fired.
but
and
no,
they just
no,
won't
no.
have
Here's
it.
the funny thing is that Brand, who's done nothing
Office
the
Space,
entire
right?
time.
I was gonna say he's the opposite of I want my stapler back. He's like I don't want the stapler,
Yeah.
and then everyone's going no, here's
Brand's the guy
stapler.
in the group project who did nothing and got an A.
He's-
Okay, first
And
off,
then
we're gonna
he's
trademark
Barry.
the internet for that smart comment.
And it's a great
Tyrion
comment.
is Barry.
Yeah,
he's
he
trying to
is.
get out and he can't.
But then at the
Well,
same time, Tyrion also okay. He's literally going to he is the king. Brand's going to continue to do nothing.
Well, that
On
group
his-
project thing was terrifically funny because that first came out after the Battle of Winterfell.
Oh, it
on
was
a group
immediate.
project.
It was immediate.
But it's like, where are you on group projects? Are you from Bran Stark to Arya Stark, where Arya did all of the work? And it's like we didn't know at the time how accurate.
Or there was
that
a whole theory
Or the
that he
whole-
actually worked into the Night King because of their connection, and
Well,
that's
there's no connection between them.
And then
I
the
mean,
whole Tyrion.
it could be a Voldemort
Hold on, but
thing.
Tyrion giving a speech about telling everyone like, "Hey, this kid has a story, and she deserves to be king." Like, wait a second, Arya has a fucking story.
fucking Jon Snow has a fucking
Jon
story.
Snow has a story.
Everyone,
Jon Snow has a-
everyone else has more story.
And Bran, all Bran did was get dragged across the north.
Oh my god!
It just, I hated it.
I was really hoping that when he went off on that stories pitch, that he was going to actually advocate for Jon Snow, because then he was going to reveal to the group
That he's Aegon Targaryen.
Who
that he
he
was Aegon
is,
Targaryen,
yeah.
Which
and
probably
then
would've
he
been better, yeah.
and then he fucking said Bran, and I literally was like, "You've got to be
And
fucking
he
kidding
goes,
me."
"I know you don't want him." I'm like, wait, Jon doesn't want it either. Like, what's going on here? Jon doesn't want to
Right?
be king. Like,
Yes, exactly. That was my exact reaction. I was like, Jon doesn't want this shit either. Neither does Hot Wheels.
he has the lineage. He has everything. Like, give it to him. Yeah, I'm sorry, Grey Worm's being a dick. And then it would have been granted, this is all hindsight shit, but it would have been great to be like, hey, you know what? Jon goes, I want a trial by combat, and then challenges Grey Worm. And we get a fucking trial by combat.
That would've been dope. I
Fight
would not-
between
I
Jon
would
and Grey
not-
Worm.
Which had been outlawed.
Yeah, but new era, new regime.
Yeah,
Fuck it.
Cersei's gone.
Bran-
You can do whatever you want.
Yeah,
Yeah,
fuck
Cersei just did it to be a
No,
cunt.
Cersei
Tommen
just did that to
that.
protect.
Oh, yeah, Tommen.
Tommen
did that.
did
Well,
that.
Cersei
Tommen
did that
did-
to
so-
tell Tommen to protect Tommen.
No, Tommen did that when he was told by the
High Sparrow.
the High Sparrow, to where she couldn't use the
Mountain.
Robert the Strong, who they never bothered to call Robert the Strong. It's the Mountain, to be her defender, so that way she would be found guilty. Yeah,
So-
and that's when she decided to let me light everybody up then.
My other gripe too is that it
Best
came
episode ever, by the way.
it came full circle.
6'10"?
Yes.
Yeah, 6'9" and
Six-
6'10" are probably the two most consecutive entertaining hours of television I've ever seen. Battle of the Bastards into that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's an amazing
Okay,
2-episode
right.
stretch.
The one thing about episode 5 of this last season that I actually enjoyed was when you see back to the lore of the Mad King having hidden dragonfire or wildfire all over the city. So you
That was
see
cool. With the
Daenerys
green
torching the
flames.
shit out of the city, which I wasn't happy about. But you see these pops of
Green
of
fire.
pots that
Yeah.
have been
Yeah,
hit.
because her dad had
No, I
planted
know,
all it
but
to
I
burn them all.
enjoyed that hearkening back to a lore that we hadn't heard since like season 1. And then going back to season 1 though, I think I don't know if it was a meme or a quick video that somebody had put together, but it was like, it was Robert Baratheon, and probably in episode 1, with Cersei, and they were all talking about, like, what keeps this whole thing together, and then Cersei goes, our marriage. And then this is the same scene where he's talking about sending the people over to Dorne or Dothraki territory to kill Daenerys as a quote-unquote teenager, because he finds out she's alive. And the tagline of it was, when your plan to kill a teenage girl was actually really smart all along.
Well, how about the meme I saw was it was the picture of Jaime pushing Bran out of the King. He knew.
Fuck you! I sent that to you.
Yeah, it was great.
Fuck
Like
you! I sent that to you.
Kingslayer level.
Yeah.
He's used before season
Before
8,
he's even king.
before he's even king, trying to slay the king.
Did you see the one where it's a poster of Ned Stark sitting on the Iron Throne from season 1, and
Yeah.
you see the Raven sitting on the other armrest?
Yeah.
I'm like, you pieces
Son
of
of a
shut fucks! You predicted. You told us what was going to happen
Well,
the
this
entire
is
time.
one of the things I'd said in previous things is J.K. Rowling told us at the very beginning what was going to happen with Harry Potter, because the very first chapter of the very first book is The Boy Who Survived.
The boy who lived. Excuse
The Boy
me.
Who Lives.
The boy who lived.
The Boy Who Lives.
I'm a Potter nerd. Don't.
And the very first point of view chapter in all of the Song of Ice and Fire is from Bran, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything with how they choose to end the books, because that's the way a child's view of the world, and because you don't find the specifics of everything that's going on until you can see it through adult eyes. But it does start with that.
Well, the adultized part is the why. The who, the what, the where as a child are the things that come first. The why is the adult perspective.
So I have a question here. So when John kills Danny, right? Drogon just picks up Danny's body and takes off, right?
Yeah, what was the point of that? Is it?
How does anybody know Danny's dead if everyone just saw the dragon fly
Well,
away?
and that's,
Again, this is the
and
whole
that's
scene
what
where
I'm
John
saying.
and Grey Worm wasn't written.
Yeah.
right. So this is where they just
Graham
jump.
discovering
This is where they just
that
like
John. They jumped 2 weeks apparently, or 3
Probably
weeks.
two- more than
they
that.
jumped 3 weeks, and then
the shortest winter ever, by the way.
right. Well, they jumped
Well, I mean,
three.
that could very well have been part of the Night King's powers.
They
so.
jumped 3 weeks. I think Tyrion mentions it because it's at least more than 2. And then I thought it really fucking stupid where in order to see Tyrion locked up before Dany dies for the Aegon needs to kill Dany conversation, give us your weapons. Oh, but to go see the queen, all you have to do is pass the dragon. The dragon says you're a Targaryen, so you can go. You can keep all your weapons as you pass like 1,000 unsullied guarding the...
I'm not gonna lie to you, that was actually kind of cool to see the dragon get out of the snow. And-
No, that was dope.
really
but
dope.
also, side note, it's like, well, you don't have to disarm yourself to go see the queen.
Yeah, true. Well, the dragon was there.
I mean, he's
protecting
armed with a different kind of weapon for the queen, but you can't take that one off.
No, he still had he had.
He's penetrated her
he had
multiple
both,
times.
Yeah.
That was the weapon I was alluding to, gentlemen. The power of the D. She was
Anyways,
digmatized.
She didn't go crazy till she stopped getting laid.
She was digmatized. She was. That's what happens when you undigmatize somebody or
Right,
keep them
so
digmatized.
Now that we have seen every episode of the show, where does it now stand as far as the pantheon of shows that you've watched?
Oh shit! I mean,
Does the last 2 seasons drag it down to?
Well, I was not a fan of 6 Feet Under or The Sopranos because I'm not a fan of
Everyone I've talked to brought up the Sopranos ending.
I'm not a fan of anti-villains. Oh, I don't like criminals. I want them to be punished and destroyed and killed. And then but the worst part is like the
Political
last couple of
commentary.
seasons when it just became about Meadow and that fucking jackass son. It's like die. I wanted them to die. But then the final episode is like the final 2 episodes leading into the gang war resolution and everything. It's like, no, this is it makes me think of the rest of the series better. I'm never going to watch any of it because I didn't like the people. And more specifically, 6 Feet Under. All of those people were despicable, hateful people that were only out for themselves. And it wasn't until right as Nate died, which was like 2 episodes before the ending in the final episode, it's like, oh, now I look back on that show fondly. These last 2 seasons are going to not make me look back on this show fondly.
I don't know, I'll go back and rewatch season 6.
I think
happily.
the only other show I was more disappointed in was the ending of Dexter, where he just has a complete mental breakdown.
Leaves
He's
his
got
child with a serial killer.
has
his
the
dead body of his sister
body
into
of
a
his sister
hurricane.
that he kind of wanted to bang, and then or does bang in a dream, whatever, and then just drives off in a hurricane to
Become a lumberjack.
of no name, and I'm just like, are you fucking kidding me? And all we get is one shot of a scruffy version of him sitting at a lumberjack table, and that's fucking it. And then it goes black. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, that's how you end this shit?
I'm trying to think of season finale. Like, the only show I can think of really off the top of my head that had a great season finale was probably Breaking Bad.
Oh yeah, Breaking Bad, hands down.
Shit,
no,
yeah,
that
Breaking
was,
Bad maybe number one.
Breaking Bad was the only
the
one.
last 2
Terrific.
seasons.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you just
Have only watched the pilot and the last episode.
What?
Really?
Are you serious? The whole
Did you not hear any of the anti-hero
he doesn't
thing
like
that I
he
said?
doesn't like anti-heroes.
But there's so much chemistry
I love
in
the
it.
But
literally.
he does
I
have
love
to
so many of
he
the
slowly
actors in it.
eases
though.
and he eases
I love-
into
That's
the
the thing.
anti-hero
No,
role.
I love
He's not there first.
I
Yeah,
will
he
watch
gets
the
his favorite one
falling
easy
of the
there.
character of the thing. Actually, I think I watched half of the first season because the first season was like 6, 7, 8 episodes.
8.
because
Yeah,
of
and you're never
the writer's
truly
strike.
rooting for Walter White. He's not really the hero of the show.
Oh no!
by any
Him
means.
destroying
But
his
it's like,
entire
I don't
fucking
care
marriage
for
and roping his an accountant
Dean
wife
or
in
whatever.
there.
I
His
don't care if
wife
his
was a
brother-in-law.
bitch.
She was a cunt.
I
She
don't
was
like
the
her
villain to
either.
me.
No, I didn't like her.
I hated her.
But also, side note that Butch could fudge some books like a mofo.
And speaking of the last 2 to 3 episodes of Breaking Bad are probably the 2 or 3 best.
I watched the
hours
last
of television ever.
It was
That episode of Ozymandias. Ryan Johnson, who directed that, by the way. It's a circle.
Best television ever.
It's arguably so the best.
West Wing's final episode was terrifically appropriate and tied back
Never
into
seen it.
leading into it.
What?
I never watched West Wing.
No,
Never
West Wing
watched
was
it.
really good. I used to watch it. I need
The only
to,
Aaron Sorkin show I ever watched was The Newsroom.
That's
Yours is the most ridiculous reason not to.
the only
because you like
the only
politics.
episode
I love
of Newsroom
politics, I know, right?
Well, the only reason I watched the Newsroom was for episode
Josh, I
1
get
with
not
that
watching
really
that.
great speech, and then I tried watching the rest of it, and I'm like, no, nothing is going to compare to this beautiful climax that happened in episode 1 to rope me in. Fuck the rest of it.
I love Jeff Daniels. So.
But Jay brings up a good point. I need to rewatch West Wing because I loved. Which Baldwin was it? What was in it?
Not in that.
Not a Baldwin.
Isn't James Spader in the show?
I know Stalker
No.
Channing
Oh,
was in
different
it,
show.
and I fucking love her.
Oh no, Martin Sheen was
Martin
the president.
Sheen, the president.
not the Baldwins, the Estevez Sheens.
Yes, the Sheen. Sorry, the non-crackhead one. But yeah,
However, Emilio Estevez is a May 12, and Stephen Baldwin is also a May 12.
but yeah, I need to rewatch those because I think I was a little too young for West Wing. I used to watch them with my dad, but I think I was too young to get the subtle nuances of what
The
was
thing
going
that
on.
I didn't like about Newsroom is that when the third episode, the season finale of the third episode, and there's some really good things that go on with some of the characters, but you really understand that Sorkin can't write women terribly well. But the worst part is you realize this was Maggie's fucking story. Fuck Maggie. Maggie was the dumbest character on that goddamn show. She should have been fired like 18 different times.
You're right. Well, I mean,
Other series finales.
actually, Sorkin.
Quantum Leap. Now, see, this is the thing. When they talked about prepare for a bittersweet ending for the Starks one, it's like, if you like the ending, there was no bitter. It was all sweet because all the Starks got everything that they needed to be and whatever. And if you didn't like the ending, it was only bitter. There was,
Only because Danny
there was no,
dies.
yeah, but there's only, but even that, it's the way that they jumped, the logic jumps for those things. Quantum Leaps was actually bittersweet because he's in the bar on the in a place that doesn't exist. He finds out that he is being moved around by some higher power. He saves Al's marriage, and then you find out in the epilogue that he never makes it back home. So it's like, oh, he does the good thing for his friend, but he can't necessarily do the thing for himself. But he's still out there helping people. So it's like, oh, we as the viewer don't get the closure of his happy ending, but we do to get the knowledge that he's able to continue doing the thing that he loves to do. So I mean, it's like half of the John ending, to where it's like it's like he's able to just be a ranger and out and go and do things.
So I did, upon conclusion of the Game of Thrones episode, I wanted everyone's, you fucking dorks. I wanted everyone's immediate reaction.
The Star Trek Next Generation finale was pretty good because it roped back into the beginning.
Sorry, hold on. I mean, just Josh is here sharing.
But why?
So apparently the Queen joined Instagram and
Real news.
Real news of the day. I
So
apologize.
in international news.
Breaking news today. The Queen joined Instagram and receives over 1 million dick pics a day.
Not a day, but total so far from all over the
I'm gonna
world.
say a day because
I
fuck
mean-
it.
Who? Okay.
I mean, do you
okay.
think the same thing happened for Sansa? She got a bunch of dick ravens.
Everybody with any sort of castle or keep is sending ravens up at her with sketch etchings.
The one-eyed ravens.
John says he'll be here in 30. Oh my god. Okay, so actually I saw this thing on Facebook that somebody sent me that was like somebody had screenshotted a conversation between her and a dude where the dude sent her an unsolicited dick pic, right? And she basically flips it, puts it down, flips it, and reverses it in the sense of,
What's your PayPal?
yeah, she's like, what's your Venmo? And he goes, what? She goes, well, I mean, I didn't want to see this. I don't think your friends and family would want to see this either. And he goes, you're kidding me. And she's like, no, $30 should do. And then he was like, what's your Venmo? And then literally she screenshotted where this random dude sent her $30 on Venmo, and I reposted that. I was like, "Weenies of the world, beware! My fee is much higher. Also, $50 per dick.
Okay, so here we go.
75 if your balls are in it.
I was trying to find the actual audio of this, but it appears to have been deleted because of who knows why.
Because internet.
When Aaron Rodgers was asked, "Were you satisfied with the ending of Game of Thrones?" Because he appeared as in the
I saw the interview.
Oh yeah,
this is gold. No. I love the show. It was great 10 years. But no, you come down to the end and Tyrion says the person with the best story is Bran, who, by the way, 3 episodes, he said he wasn't Bran Stark anymore. No, Jon had a better story. Dany had a better story. Arya had a better story.
Fuck the
Sansa had a better story. Tyrion had a better story. Varys had a better story. Bronn had a better story. Jaime had a better story. Cersei probably had a better story. Any Baratheon, better story. Who should have been on the throne? I think Dany should have been on the throne. Here's the thing, though. Here's my last theory about it. If Bran, the three-eyed raven, who's all about the health of the realm, let's think about what he did. He basically wanted the throne the whole time because he's the one who told the Starks, knowing that Sansa would tell Tyrion, knowing that Tyrion would tell Varys, knowing that he'd scheme for Dany's death, knowing that that would piss her off, which would lead her to be the Mad Queen. So he had the entire time set the whole thing up, and then at the end goes, "Oh yeah, I don't want to be the king, but oh, by the way, I'll travel all the way down here to be there. No, look, I love the opportunity to be in the show," which was most people probably don't think I was, but I was there. I love the show, but the writers are also doing Star Wars, so I think maybe they've been a little busy.
Distracted. Yeah, I saw that. I saw that.
No, I remember.
Aaron Rodgers, hero.
I watched this episode. I watched that interview, and I was like, "Yep, 100% fucking agree."
Who's got a better story? Every single person.
Every single person. I mean, fuck, the Red Witch has a better. Even Melisandre has a better
even
story.
Sweet Robin, whose first 10 years of his story was like I was suckling at my mom's teat, is a better story.
That's what gave him that milky white, exterior when he's sitting there.
It's the smooth skin.
It's what it is. Maybe he's still using it as a skincare routine.
You can clearly tell he represents the Aerie because he had the beak with him.
Well, he had the beak, and then he had like this filigree, almost like wings shit going on his shoulders. He literally looked like a bird.
He's looked like such a fop. He's leaning back at the gloves across. He's like, "Look at my nice clothes. Look at my nice clothes."
They're all unsullied.
I'm not getting paid to say anything, so I'm not going to talk.
The unsullied part wasn't a pun.
Okay, hold on, time out.
So Sansa said I had to vote for her. She's going to slap the shit out of me again.
When you were talking, that was another thing that was in that video you sent me. It was talking about how the Benioff and Weiss are trying to break down what's going on. And one of the clips after the long night, they're like, "So we literally watched the eradication of an entire race."
Yes, and then all of a sudden,
and then out of nowhere,
when they charge
they can regenerate.
Several times they said that.
Yes, I was so infuriated by that because you see the charge on King's Landing, and then all of a sudden there's like a bunch of Dothraki, and I'm like, but also side note, that's how you fucking do it. You send in your foot soldiers, wait for the dragon to fucking fuck up the gate, and then you send in your cavalry. Like, not your cavalry first in blind light. Like, who the fuck? Did Sansa just orchestrate all of the Battle of Winterfell? Because she's a fucking dipshit then. Because whoever orchestrated this one on King's Landing at least had some semblance of a fucking brain.
Well, that was
we just need one good shot. All of the turrets have been, all the scorpions have been roasted, my queen. Well, fuck, y'all succeeded. Yeah. Like, that's it. Like, whoever did this one, as far as orchestrating a plan, was much better than the Battle of Winterfell. Like, that was the most. Yeah, we fucked up Winterfell just for views and because we really didn't fucking care. If I've ever seen a writer not care and just do everything for aesthetic purposes, it is the dichotomy of those 2 episodes and their war plan.
Well.
And
it's over, guys.
Well, it's because they needed things to. They needed the unbeatable dragons to be beatable when they needed them. They needed the all-knowing Bran to be unknowable when they needed. They needed everying to fit the plot.
Tyrion become the dumbest man in the land and make all the wrong decisions, and then at the very end, go, "This man he needs to spend the rest of his life righting his wrongs."
Atoning, but also giving me advice.
Yeah, right. Like, really, and then at the same time, like, even though Tyrion's pretty much king now. Because Bran's just going to sit there and do nothing. He's just going to sit there literally do nothing. By the way, that throwaway line of, "Oh, I'm going to go find Drogon." Yeah. Maybe I'll go find him. Who knows?
Like, you couldn't have done that the entire fucking season to help people out.
Yeah.
Sorry, you can hear the anger in my voice in that one, guys.
I'm going to watch the death and slaughtering of thousands of people.
Daenerys killing 10,000 people. Oh, how could we stop this dragon? Bran's like, No, I'm good.
No, I don't.
Not too much
I don't
effort.
know. I don't know way to do it. It's beyond anything I could think
It's
of.
only like the one
Nobody-
cool power I have.
But it was funny because, like, what's the episode right before the Battle of Winterfell? So it's episode 2, where
Knights of the Seven Kingdoms.
yeah, where
the best episode of the season.
where
by the way,
everyone is going-
Who Benioff and Weiss had nothing to do with.
Right,
David
exactly.
Nutter wrote that episode, and he directed that episode.
beautiful.
Great episode.
But that's
one?
the episode
Which
where
one?
everyone's
Second
episode
one.
2.
episode 2
fire.
of the last
Second round
season.
of
The
fire.
one that's most like all the other episodes from previous seasons.
Yes, the one that's actually written true to
Most of the
source
characters.
material.
to style. So, but that's the episode where everyone's treating Bran like the fucking magic 8-ball. Bran, what about this? Bran, what about that? Bran, what about this? What do you think about that? And then nobody thinks to ask Bran anything the rest of the season.
I thought he was going to answer the fucking question anyway.
and that's
so I was like,
and that's
nah,
one of my
we'll
beefs.
see.
And that's one of my beefs with Sansa's all of a sudden being able to be seen as the smartest person. It's like we get that when she introduces Arya to Bran again after they all meet, that she doesn't quite understand it, but she does see that there is merit and value because obviously Bran knew what happened to her and she didn't tell anybody. So when Tyrion comes up there and says, well, it's like Cersei said her army's coming up there, and then it's like, well, where are they? Why didn't she just say it's like, well, they're not coming? Like I spoke to Bran, I know they're not coming, and like use her resources. But no, we're just supposed to be told, oh yeah, she's smart.
Well, this entire episode also, and this is the last thing before we go back to talking about anything else in the Game of Thrones, is that
It'll be the last time we talk about Game of Thrones.
I know it's so bittersweet.
Until anything good happens and we reference how bad the ending was.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
Until we lump that in with the Sopranos and Dexter ending.
Or until Benioff and Weiss' Star Wars Trilogy comes
I
out.
love The Sopranos ending.
So the Attack on King's
Great
Landing
ending.
starts with Cersei standing at the infamous window where Tommen's fucking thrown himself out of, where she's
Best
watched.
GIF ever, by the way.
Yeah.
Anytime I do something embarrassing, I watch something embarrassing.
GIF.
That's the GIF. It's GIF. The
It's
guy who
GIF.
created that file format has said it's GIF.
I don't give a fuck. It's GIF.
Is it a giraffe?
No.
G-I.
Thank you. Continue.
Is it a giant? No, it's a giant.
Well, now okay, so anyways, fuck you guys. So Cersei's out standing at the infamous fuck you window, right? And if Bran had warged into a raven, before any of this started, he could have seen exactly where Cersei stood. We could have seen Daenerys fly in on her fucking dragon, torch all the scorpions, and then just go right to the castle and torch
Well,
just where.
here's the thing is
Danny knew where she was.
And torch
It's
just
clearly-
where Cersei stood.
It's
and
clearly
she wouldn't have to
obvious that-
destroy the
hold on.
entire fucking city.
She
But
wanted
here's
to.
the thing is that it's clear that Benioff and Weiss did not really enjoy the magical elements of the books or the show, and they just kind of eliminated all of it in the last two seasons.
But that was part of the beauty of Game of Thrones for so long, was it was actually practical. And it was actually kind of until Benoit Ben to a certain extent.
If you read
to a certain
George, what I understand,
extent.
the books have a lot more mysticism
No,
and
no, no.
magical
but
shit going on.
George R. R. Martin even came out in interviews and said like what he tried to do is like as far as fantasy novels go, it's really minimal on the supernatural stuff. And
Yeah,
he said he went out of his way to do that.
Well, no, I meant practical as far as like, yeah, this could happen to a certain extent, or like this is how somebody would strategically handle this. It's not like throwing the whole fucking thing up in the air and going, "Fuck it, we'll just see where it lands."
Yeah, like like Lord of the Rings, like whenever something's wrong, the Eagles.
The
And for
orcs.
for those of you who are listening, I realized that gift is with a G sound, but she didn't, so I get the victory.
Okay,
I'll gift you that.
fuck you guys. I'm more of a reader, so I was always told never make fun of somebody who pronounces a word
no,
wrong,
'cause there's
because
no
that means
idea.
they never heard it said out loud. It means they read it.
Oh, that was the
First.
entirety of reading comic books. Like I thought, is this Magneto? And then somebody said Magneto, and I was like, oh my god, what?
It is Magneto?
No, I don't think it is.
No, I don't. Okay,
But
don't
there's
make
no-
me feel that.
But
I'm
there's-
like,
but there's no idea. I have
was
no
like,
idea.
but I don't know. That's what I always
Well,
was
especially-
never make fun of somebody who
you get
read
the
or read
butt
words.
end of all this. Well, particularly with American English, which grabs so many words from every other language that we don't even know the basis
That likes
of
to
that.
give zero credit to, unless you actually read a
But that was one of
dictionary.
the things that yes, Martin is using fantasy a lot less, but within the books, magic is reintroduced into the area because of the rebirth of the dragons. That's what's having a lot of the things occurring more of, and that's why it's attracting more of the red priests and all of the other things.
So do you
because
think
now
the
this
Lord of
occurs.
Light actually wanted Bran
Well, no,
to
no.
be a king?
That's one of the other things. Is
So
this
why
is-
did the Lord of Light decide to call Melisandre back
this
right
is,
after the Battle of Winterfell?
Well, this is the to direct to point Arya in the right way, and the Lord of Light apparently Melisandre was using John, because John was the light bringer, because he brought everyone together, and eventually because of his leadership and getting them together, then they were able to defeat them.
So the Lord of Light only cares about the Night King?
Within the context of the story.
Of the show specifically, because I'm sure the books are entirely different.
The books are entirely different, because they threw
That's my
everything
next
away.
thing is now that I've seen every episode,
read
I'm going to go
books?
read the books. And
Well, here's the deal. That's why I waited.
Please discuss when you get through the.
I needed to get back into reading, and now this is pure hatred motivation.
But
Well, no.
The dealing with that though is like one of the things that has been, and again, this isn't from the show; it's from people that like it and interpreting and making the square peg fit in the round hole. Is that because what is the purpose of John coming back? Well, John brought the men and the wildlings and everybody together to get them in the place to where they could fight through the Night King. So that was his light bringing, because once spring, the winter was a short winter of a few weeks or months.
Yeah, because
the Night King was killed. Though.
Well, one of the last shots we also saw was there was a plant growing north of a wall.
You see a sprig of a plant going up.
But that was the thing. Is like it's like, oh, it's going to be a bad winter. Well, the winter that is coming was the duel. It's not just winter. It was the Night King.
No, it was the whole dichotomy that they were going against was that winter is coming, winter is here. That was their whole fucking branding play.
But it wasn't like, oh, it's gonna, since it was summer for 10 years, it'll be winter for 10 years. No, that's what everybody within the universe was thought it to be, but now we realize that it's like, no, the winter that is coming is the Night King, and because he brought the storms that stymied the dragons. And,
so with as slimy of a character as Bronn was, because I know how much you love Bronn, Jere.
I would just always say his name instead of Bran. I just like that Jerome Flynn and Lena Headey hated each other so much that they couldn't be in scenes for the last 4 seasons.
It was in their contract.
Yeah, right. No, I love it.
Anyways,
but I love.
Just end Thrones.
But he was absolutely right though when he was talking with. That was one of the things that. Of all the people, his character's writing was the most consistent, even though they asked him to do dumb things. Because when he says that to,
I just don't.
When Jamie's like, "How can you give him River Run?" and it's like, cutthroats are always the heads of houses.
But when they're having that round table, and this, I promise we're going to wrap this up. When they're at that round table talk in one of the last scenes with Tyrion and the Master of Coin, they're talking about brothels and honeycombs and shit. How the fuck did nobody kill this guy? How, when we were playing dies, survives, thrives over this whole thing? Like, I'm going through my head about who actually survived and who was actually advantageous at the end of this, and nobody picked Bronn. And
Bronn won.
Bronn won. He is rich as fuck. He's got all the bitches. Also, why is he concerned about brothels when he can have his own all the bitches at his own houses?
Because he wants everyone to have fun. He's a good person.
But
He's
also,
a good person.
But also, side note, like, how did one of the most
because he's gonna have
slimy
to spend,
characters?
He's gonna have to spend most of his time in King's Landing. He can't go to River Run all the time. That's why he wants them there.
But
Yeah.
I'm not. Aside from brothels, I'm just kind of baffled that like the shit character. I mean, very, very good writing aesthetically, but as far as the shit character goes, like,
because he was given the house that has the bread basket. They grow the food.
No,
so
I understand that, but like, how the fuck did nobody just kill this dude and be like, all right, he's a prick.
He's
fuck
in
it.
charge of the House of Coin. But by the way,
because there are no assassins.
how about
in
that
Westeros.
awkward conversation when Tyrion finally gets the bill for the Golden Army or the
Golden Compass?
Cersei paid off the debt from taking all the money from Highgarden to the Iron Bank, took out a new loan from the Iron Bank, and then paid the Golden Company. The Golden Company,
the Golden Company, they were paid before they showed up.
Now, they still owed money to the Iron Bank.
Yeah, I was going to say, what about Tyrion has all the money he owes to the Iron Bank? What's going on with that?
But the Golden Compass Company was paid before. That was part of the conversation where she's like, you guys really need to listen more a lot when Father talked about the power of gold.
Anyways, I think those books,
slag and
I'm pretty sure those books are going to be coming up probably at the end of this year.
And
at
then
this point.
This is again
they're
when
done.
I heard a report this year, earlier today, that which I haven't been able to verify anywhere, that was that Martin might have. If books aren't released by next summer, you can put him in jail. Yeah, so
from what I understand, from what I've read, rumor has that these books actually been done for a while, and he struck a deal with Weiss and Benioff.
He did. No, I read
to not release the books until after the show ends.
No, I read somewhere very deep in the internet of nerddom that the books were done actually before season 7, if I'm not mistaken, if not almost done. Manuscript wise, and then again that contract that it could not be released until Benioff and Weiss totally ruined it.
Yeah.
I think also partially they probably fucking ruined it just to drive up book sales, but everyone was already going to read this shit anyways.
Yeah, no, those last 2 books are probably going to be. I don't think
I think
I'm gonna
that's
say
the
about
better.
80% of what we saw is probably going to be how it plays out.
I don't think so.
I do.
I don't.
It's just going to be done a little bit better because you're actually going to get the backstory and why. You're actually get the character's perspective of what's happening.
I don't think that's how. I mean, the whole ending itself was not how George R. R. Martin does shit.
Bran's going to end up being the king in the book, but we're actually going to get it's going to be fleshed out, and you're actually, Danny's going to get her. Like, it's going to flesh out her turning the way she did.
I just think that whole last
get the
season
perspective.
of the show
We'll
is
actually
just gonna
probably
be
get an
redone
idea of how
entirely differently.
We never get a single shot of Danny on the dragon as she's torturing her. We don't even get an idea of how she's reacting.
Well, there's
Is
a couple
she,
shots
is she
where they didn't even
maniacal? Is she,
CGI her
like,
in.
crying? Is she angry? What's going on?
But we might not even have to get a turn, because I think something that is clearly television show related was flipping the Night King and Cersei in the big boss battle. Because if they follow through with the princess that is promised and Azarahi and Danny could still be killed by John, but the circumstances and everything is all different. She chooses to sacrifice herself to save the realm by bringing out the Lightbringer, things like that, or the reverse, and then she's the one that does that or whatever. So, I mean, we were told that they were given 3 big beats, and that Danny and John, how that situation goes, is what everybody thinks was the third one, and then a couple others we had seen previously that have happened already. So, but how he goes about that, it could be entirely different, because the order of the battle.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It could be different. But that's why I said 80% of what we saw.
No. I think the events may be there, but like the order and how could be completely different.
And also,
so I mean, it's just it. Both of you are going to be right and wrong.
And character motivation.
Ways.
We're going to actually get character motivation. We're going to get character. It's very going to get fleshed out.
Well, that's the thing, is like the in the books, it's point of view chapters. So whenever you're reading a chapter,
I do love that about his
person's
writing. I love that part.
So you literally know everything that they're thinking. So when you're
Danny's actually on the dragon torturing her, we actually have an idea of what she's actually doing.
Well, in that instance, we probably wouldn't see it from her view, since somebody else. But when you're reading the chapters, when Cersei is looking out for her kids and going nuts, it's like we really understand how. No, she's mad, crazy.
Good for you.
You
You missed that? No, yeah, that's why. Originally, it was supposed to be.
No,
at
I
1
was
o'clock.
worried about getting here, so I did not interweb, so I didn't see your post.
Oh no, yeah.
So you flicked him off from your Uber that you paid
No.
for?
Mike Pence's motorcade was blocking my apartment.
Oh, that's why.
Yeah, that's why I couldn't leave.
I don't know. I was trying to get my ass out the door.
I was trying to leave my apartment to get here. I wanted to be here about 20 minutes earlier than
77
normal.
was stopped as well.
And when I walked out of my apartment, literally, you actually, you checked my Instagram story. You actually, I
haven't looked at it. Remember, I was trying to get myself here.
Well, you actually see me filming the motorcade drive by my apartment as I was trying to go to my car.
Well, it already sounds like it was better when the POTUS.
Anyways,
came to town.
End of Game of Thrones talk. We'll see what happens. We'll read the books. I'm reading Blood and Fire right now. And
Anybody
The
got
history
the,
of the
anybody got the
Targaryens.
books
Yeah.
they want to lend me, or
I have the first 5.
I was gonna say okay, or I can go fend for myself and find them in the wild.
I want to go buy them.
I've already
hardback.
lent them out to others, so they've already been read. So
Yeah, my mom has
I'll bring
all
one up
5
next week.
Yeah, you can. I'm gonna borrow them from my mom. Actually, my mom was letting my nieces borrow them, and they're all reading them. So I'm gonna have to go buy my own set. So
Bless your children or your nieces and nephews for reading that book. That is an awesome thing. I'm a huge advocate for kids reading.
Oh no, I bought my mom. I bought my mom the first set of the first 5 books, and then I just bought her for Mother's Day the History of the Targaryen, which is Blood and Fire.
Nice.
Yeah, we're a reading family.
I love that.
I bought my mom Lord of the Rings, all that shit.
Yeah, I come from a reading
She
family,
loves
too.
fantasy. She read the entire Wheel of Time series, which is like 14 books.
Yeah, that's insane.
Robert Jordan.
I think I read
Who
the
was
entire
actually
series
BFFs
of
with
unfortunate events.
Robert Jordan and Tolkien were friends, I do believe.
I don't think Jordan was that old.
No.
No, Tolkien and C.S. Lewis were.
Yeah, maybe it was Robert Jordan was friends with someone who was the guy that finished, I think, writing the books because he passed away.
Yeah.
He's from Charleston, I do believe, and yada yada. Anyways, I haven't read that. I haven't read that series.
One last thing I'd like to say. One of the things that somebody said talking about the ending, because there's nothing inherently, and this goes exactly what I had been saying before, is like each of these episodes individually work within the context of themselves, but it's when you fit them in the larger story that they don't.
Yeah.
But he said it's like, I mean, I wasn't bothered. He said I wasn't bothered by the ending. I'm not going to be kept up at night about it. And I responded and said that that's really true, but it's unfortunate because previous episodes actually did keep me up at night thinking about them, which the finale never did, and that was what's unfortunate about it. It was such build up, such wonderful storytelling, such everything, and it's just like meh.
Hold on. Well, we're done with that.
So speaking of endings, hold on.
Speaking of Wheel of Time, though, actually Amazon picked that up to be a show.
Oh, really?
Amazon. So Amazon's doing Lord of the Rings show and a Wheel of Time show.
Damn.
The Similarian
That
basis.
CGI budget's about to be through
you're
the
gonna
ass.
be getting a bunch of fantasy shows here in the next couple
not
of years.
mad.
A ton
I like
of them. You can't
fantasy.
be mad. I mean,
I like sci-fi in this context, though.
it's not really sci-fi. It's fantasy.
Well, I mean, you're right. It's not the science part, but it's definitely
There's no science in fantasy. But
Sorry, I grew up in a sci-fi family. Okay,
fair
like
enough. I
Battlestar
love both.
Galactica at age 6.
I
Okay,
love
that
both.
was.
But anyways,
and I'm a Trekkie.
did anyone see John Wick 3?
I'm probably gonna go see it after this.
You're gonna go
I
see it
might.
after
I
this?
might go see that later. Actually, to segue from. Sorry, I have nothing to add to John Wick real quick. But in HBO's Redemption, since Jared was just talking about the finale,
His Dark Materials.
and we
Did you
were
see the
talking
trailer
about
for that?
and we were talking about Dexter. The one good thing about the season finale is that we saw the teaser for Westworld season 3.
I didn't see that.
What?
I only saw the trailer for his Dark Materials.
And-
Aaron Paul is in it. So.
Yes, from Breaking Bad. That's why. I'm sorry, I meant to say Breaking Bad instead of Dexter. Yeah. So
Aaron Paul's gonna be in Westworld season 3.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, bitch.
he's in yeah, bitch. He's in a massive part of the teaser, and the only reason I knew it was Westworld was because at the very end of it, you see
The logo.
you see her face. She's the one that's kicking
Yes,
everyone's
yes,
ass
yes,
underneath the bridge, and you see what's her name, Jer.
Well,
You know me.
but I stumbled on this.
You know me with
yesterday.
names. I'm terrible,
it's the
guys.
lead
Sorry.
female character. It's the one that dated Marilyn Manson that was on True Blood.
I mean,
Evelyn Rachel Wood.
Evan
Yes,
Rachel Wood's
Evan Rachel
character.
Wood's
There we go.
Ooh, I did a Jerry job right there. Without even
You
looking at my
did.
phone.
High five.
Boom.
Double five because you double Jared.
I know.
nice.
But yeah, so you see Evan Rachel Wood's character, but you don't see her at first. So there's just a female kicking all these dudes' ass underneath like an overpass, and then all of a sudden she just kind of like turns to the side and looks at the dude from Breaking Bad,
So like, are you okay?
and he's like, "Are you okay?" And she turns and just has this like viper look in her face, and so you see her character, and so she's clearly out of the West world.
Well,
We
that's
don't know
the thing.
that yet. We don't know
that's
that.
the Mysterio
Supposedly.
thing. So, because it could be a different world, but it's
She could-
everybody's interpreting it as that it's robots out in the real world.
So I actually have two theories off of this. Either A, she got stuck back in it and they created a different world. She's stuck in one of the other worlds.
Well, there's a bunch of they established in
Because
the second season there's other worlds.
There's other worlds.
Feudal
and
Japan
the, and the
world.
other worlds looks like a very futuristic, general suburbia and Brooklyn had a baby kind
What
of
a
thing.
waste of Japanese
And
feudal
what
world,
was
by the way.
what was the sequel to Westworld called?
Go on.
Future World.
Oh, was it really?
Yeah.
Yeah, but they didn't give us any of that. They just gave us the big W, but it broken up in just to be like 1, 2, 3,
For
just
third-
like Roman
season
symbol.
3.
Yeah, season 3, Westworld 3. So that's all we got from it. But yeah, so either I had a girlfriend and I talking about this. Either we think she's stuck in a different world or a different one of the worlds, and she's pissed off, and she's tracking down all of the people that, or that's her character. She's been reprogrammed,
Right.
or she's out in the real world and she's tracking down all the people. She somehow got into the computer register of all of the guests that interacted with her.
Right.
And she's tracking them down in the real world because her character in Westworld was raped. She was
Yeah.
a farmer's daughter that got raped. So she's tracking down all the people that raped her
That'd be
in the real world, which is personally my theory. I think that'd be dope as fuck.
That'd be pretty good.
But I was also, this was actually right
But it's
after
like-
Game of Thrones finale where I'm watching Arya assassin leave. So I'm like, oh,
It wasn't
assassin.
until you were talking about that I remembered because there was the Yul Brynner movie.
You need to watch this. I'll send
And
it to you.
Westworld occurred, and then they had a
Watch what?
sequel.
I'll send you
And it
you
was
the
Future World.
the teaser.
So everybody was thinking that maybe it's the robots in the future of which the timeline exists, but it could actually be Future World as
Actual
well.
future world.
It could actually be Future World.
Yeah, I was going to say, all I caught was his Dark Materials trailer, which looks kind of cool.
And then it closed with the Watchmen trailer.
a Watchmen trailer.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
also, I saw a little. They do a quick sneak of Hugh Laurie's new show that he's getting on HBO, which is called Avenue 5, which is apparently a sci-fi comedy where he plays like an admiral or some shit. And I don't know if you guys. Well, I'm the only one here that watches Veep. I think.
Yeah, I don't want to be.
No, I knew it was on that.
He was on Veep, and he's fucking hysterical on that show. I had no idea he was actually funny.
Have you seen it? Do I need to send it to you?
I just started Veep. I'm on episode 3.
How you liking it?
No, I'm talking about the teaser trailer for Westworld. Do I need to send it to
Stephen
you?
Fry
Send
and
it
Hugh
again.
Laurie were a comedy team.
Were they really?
Yeah,
I had no idea. I just know him as House.
they were quite funny.
I mean, he's actually pretty funny on House, but it's always in a deadpan, just being a dick kind
Yeah,
of
but
way.
I love deadpan humor, so I thought he was wonderful in House, even though he was a prick.
I always love hearing Hugh Laurie use his actual voice.
When he was on set, when he finally showed up, because he sent in a tape while he was on the remake of Flight of the Phoenix to audition for House. And when he showed up on set with the English accents, everybody's like, "Oh, so you're practicing an English accent?" And they didn't realize, they didn't know he was from England.
Well, because you actually get a chance to hear his real voice in was it Monster vs. Aliens? He plays the cockroach science, like whatever, I guess mad scientist or whatever. Who turns into a cockroach? He plays that, and that voice is great. That's his actual
Very
real voice.
Franz Kafka of them.
Yeah. Well, hey, Josh, you actually want to talk about something right quick before we...
Yeah,
I do
Josh.
believe you said you wanted to talk about something, and I
Yes,
guess you
ask
forgot
Josh what
already.
you want to
You're like,
talk
can we
about,
please
babe?
get off Game of Thrones?
Oh, no, it was going to be the smooth transition from the two dickhead writers going into Star Wars. We got some new Star Wars news today that they're canceling all the spin-off movies.
Yeah. And
So no more like Han Solo.
San Holo's a DJ.
Sorry. You can tell I've been tired. I've been working a lot of shows.
And also, you're not a Star Wars person anyway, so it's okay. But no, I just saw there's a news report that says that we're going to be getting the Knights of Ren, actually, finally. Actually, we get the Knights of Ren in episode 9.
Don't be one of those
Cheers,
guys, because
face.
you're not one of those guys on this, because you like Last Jedi. Last Jedi took place over like 4 days. We're not going to see the Knights of Ren when they were not already present.
you're
there. So I
right.
mean, it's not like, oh, they're doing a whole retcon and there's like, listen, you jackasses out there, that's not what happened. They were somewhere doing whatever. They weren't at present with what was happening in Last Jedi, which took place in maybe 5 days. So it's
Yeah,
like
you
it's
did.
not like there was like, oh,
Not
they
even 5
completely
days. I think it was 1 day.
It was it started immediately after Force Awakens, and then whatever period of time that, because I mean, Rey going with Luke felt like that at least covered a period of time,
And
but,
also-
but the rest of it was a short
They're
period.
saying that we're going to get a Carrie Fisher scene with her daughter, too.
Well, yes, there, Billy Lord, who's been in the previous 2 movies, is going to have a scene interacting with her mom,
Yeah.
which is all footage from Force Awakens.
Do any of you guys watch American Horror Story, by the way? by any chance?
Yes.
Did you see that the new season is going to be about slasher? Like 80s style slasher movies? Yeah, I know. I actually like the last season, too.
I need to watch that teaser now.
Yeah, I haven't watched it. I don't like watching... I stopped watching teasers for the most part.
I just like knowing when shows are going to come out. Like, that's the only reason I watch them is because I'm like, okay, at the end you're going to tell me when the fuck it comes
Going
up.
back to the importance of Josh's point is like they're canceling all the spin-off movies, but that just means that that's going to be more content eventually
Disney
for
Plus
Disney
stuff.
Plus.
Disney Plus
Hopefully,
content.
yeah.
Hopefully, because I definitely want to get the Darth Maul, live-action Darth Maul with the mechanical legs being the crime boss, crime lord, or whatever of the...
Yes,
the
Black Sun.
Yes, Black
Well, nobody
Sun.
really wanted to see
Amelia
a
Clark
whole
deserves
Snoke movie.
a better story.
She does, and she actually... I liked her character in that movie.
She's fantastic in that.
Fantastic
Great.
in Solo. Yeah,
Yeah, no, Amelia Clark was wonderful in Han Solo.
Oh, actually, I do
She
believe...
was. She was great. She was great in the other things. She had
Speaking
to
of
carry a
Amelia
lot.
Clark and also Cersei playing characters, the new trailer for Terminator, the new one comes out tomorrow.
Does have both of them in it?
Huh?
Does have both of them in it?
No, they
No.
both played
They
Sarah Connor.
They both played Sarah Connor.
That was very good.
Yeah.
I always bring that. Here, this is for John.
Yeah, because
This is really good.
Lena Headey plays Sarah Connor in the Sarah Connor Chronicles, which was a Terminator show that was on Fox back in the 2000s.
With Summer Glau playing
Yeah,
Terminator,
Summer Glau was awesome in that
where
show.
they were protecting young
Yeah,
John Connor.
Great show, by the way. If you never actually check that out, and then in what's her face?
Genesis
Genesis
with the Y.
What's her face?
Amelia Clark.
Amelia Clark plays Sarah
Sarah Connor
Connor
in that
in Terminator Genesis. So
But Linda Hamilton's back to playing Sarah Connor.
yeah, they brought back Linda Hamilton. They got old Arnold back. By the way, Arnold taking that hit in the back, drop kick in the
Oh
back,
my God,
and
that
didn't even
video
budge.
didn't
barely
even budge.
moved.
What a legend!
71.
And
What
still,
is-
71-year-old
and
man.
still a tank.
What a
Still
stupid way
okay.
to get arrested. Let me try and
wants to-
Mortal Kombat drop kick.
Who wants to kick Arnold?
And a good segue, by the way. Mortal Kombat will be start filming this actual fall. James Wan led. That'd be great. I'm looking forward to that. I would love. I actually wanted to give you guys homework to actually cast the movie, saying who.
I can't help you with that.
Well, yeah, you didn't play the game, but I know Josh did. So
You want to try it on the fly a little bit?
you want
right
to try
now?
on the fly right now?
Oh my God, I cannot contribute to this.
Yeah, I know you actually. I want to. Oh, actually, hold on. Time out. Before we even do that, I originally gave you guys homework to go ahead and do. I never released the last week's
Don't
episode.
hit the
by the
microphone like that, please.
I never
Maybe
actually.
give you a heart attack.
I never released.
It's the most expensive thing.
Jerry
in
and
the
I
world.
talked for 6
Well,
hours
it's a
just saying.
shirt.
I
I
actually
know how
never.
much their headphones cost. I can't imagine how much their microphones
I never
cost.
released the podcast last week that Jerry and I released because it was just literally overwhelmed. I was just everywhere, and I was actually really angry half the time. I was like, I listened to it. I'm like, this is not good. So, but we did go ahead and we did discuss our pitches for the new trilogy or a trilogy that we would like to see. And I told Josh to go ahead and do it as well as Jerry.
I'm really full of myself of my first idea.
So I want to go
I
ahead,
see your face, so I know you are.
No, I want to go ahead and have us do that right now. Actually, is go ahead and pitch a trilogy for Star Wars. Did you ever do that?
No, I didn't. Never got around to it.
You never got around to it?
I started planning it, but then the first episode we didn't get to it, so I just completely went on the back burner.
Well, let me tell you, I completely ripped that up. Instead of like a trilogy, I just came up with 3 different ideas for 3 different movies.
And actually, it was his idea was really good. I actually like my idea, but go ahead, Jerry. Pitch your idea right quick.
So Rogue One is quite possibly now my favorite Star Wars movie, even more so than Empire Strikes Back. And the more I watch it, the more I like it. Everything about it, particularly because they chose to. Dirty Dozen is one of my favorite military movies of all time, and this was that, and it was a Star Wars movie that said, nope, they all die, because at that point, as Josh was saying later,
you never saw him in the original trilogy.
No, you never saw him, and I do like the one reference. You see Red 5 die in the Battle of Scarif, which allows Luke to be Red 5 when they attack the Death Star, and they rename the Red Squadron the Rogue Squadron for the guys that did that. It makes perfect sense. It's like that's good. And
circle.
And then it's like also. Darth Vader was a badass.
Yeah, you got that one scene. Actually, that was added the last second.
That was a massive scene.
But it was perfect for that because it puts the precarious nature and fear that the rebellion had at that moment.
Vader,
to where it's like, oh God, they are about to be crushed out of existence. This is their one shot, and they have to make it happen. And they also led in a couple of things of why the Last Jedi makes sense, because it's like, oh, tracking. Hyperspeed tracking abilities, which is how they're able to track them in a lot. But the idea was we see like the beginnings and everything, but it was more or less like Departed in space. I'm going to go ahead and get to the log line. There's an Imperial that we find out is a rebel spy trying to get information, and then there's I'm
really glad Brienne of Tarth hopefully stays in this.
And then there's a rebellion who's an Imperial spy, and they're both trying to get information, and it ends up that they both have to end up being at the same place, and somebody sees, it's like, oh, I'm in the Empire, and that's a rebel, but I'm actually the spy, and they both try and get the help from the other one they realize, but it's that sort of thing.
Departed in space.
Yes, Departed in space. It became that. But it's like, see more of the backstabbing, the behind the scenes, all of the things that Andor related to. It's like, I've killed people, I've done all these terrible things. If we don't do this, then what have I been doing it for? And then actually go into that. It's like, it's messy fighting for freedom. You have to do bad things. Let's see one of these people that is sacrificing that. Maybe they have a family, and that's why they're doing it and everything. And that would be one of the stories on that one.
Yeah, the concept of having parallel, rebel, and having a parallel with
an Imperial spy.
An Imperial spy, that'd be awesome.
And each one thinks it's like, hey, I'm doing the right thing. I'm keeping the Empire has been great, because obviously he'd be a humanoid in the Empire, and so it's like, they've been great for my planet. We've had all this other things. We've been flush. We've had all these things. What's so bad about it?
And when you told me that idea, it blew my fucking mind. I'm like, oh my God, I would take all my money right now, because I will pay to see that immediately.
Now that we know that Rogue One exists, and Solo and everything dealing with the gangster and the crime syndicates, it's like, there's this nasty, dirty area of
Star Wars. Like all the people actually taking, people basically being, everyone's
taking the risk.
Yeah, and also the character that they introduced in Last Jedi, which was Benicio del Toro's character. He's like, who's paying for these wars?
Yeah, he's playing for both sides.
Yeah, he's playing both sides.
He was my favorite character in the movie.
He was a great character, because you actually realize...
If he just stopped at thing, I would be on all...
The whole...
I didn't mind it.
It's literally
it's
like my worst
the
sound in the world.
The whole thing that Last Jedi did was establish an idea of greatness there. There's people that are playing both sides. People are benefiting, they're profiting off the wars.
Or not even caring at all. Just
which goes into my idea, the fact that my idea was the idea of basically we get to learn about Darth Plagueis, who is Sidious's...
Darth Plagueis the one who defeated death, apparently.
Yeah, who apparently defeats death, who, he's the one who can manipulate midichlorians, who may have very well led to his research into midichlorians and trying to manipulate death. His research could possibly led to...
No, it has. That's happened in the comics.
Yeah, did lead to Vader. Did lead to Vader basically being born, basically. Anakin, they create Anakin because of his research into it. So we get an idea of learning about establishing the relationship between Sidious and Plagueis, and how Plagueis was basically a banker, and he actually infiltrated that side of the Star Wars universe, and how he was able to manipulate all that, and how Sidious was able to go in there into... He was from...
Sidious was from Naboo.
Yeah, he's from Naboo and everything. So, you get an idea of how he was able to infiltrate all that, become a senator for that, and basically you get an entire prequel trilogy to the prequel trilogy. So
well, no, I mean just to how
pre-prequel.
a pre-prequel, yeah.
but how the Sith survived.
How the Sith were able to
when they were thought
survive,
they
yeah.
were gone.
Doesn't make a bad joke.
Which is
about that.
would be an amazing trilogy. We actually find out that Darth Plagueis is probably still alive, even though Sidious killed him. Killed him in his sleep, by the way.
Well, that was one of the interesting things. Is I was rewatching Attack of the Clones, and oddly, I was paying attention to some dialogue this time, and because Memorial Day, TNT, they do such a great job, they'll play them all. And when Obi-Wan goes in, and you see Christopher Lee's character, and he's there with the all of the people that were the villains in the first movie and everything. They kind of allude to the fact that they left Sidious's side, and they're not with them, and so it's like it's almost like there's an extra layer of everything that we're so put off by the bad romantic storyline and the other things that we don't pay attention that the Jedi that Christopher Lee was playing was actually trying to combine those forces to stop Sidious.
Yeah.
And that they were ahead of it because the Jedi wouldn't help. But then the Jedi thought they were the villains because he may have gone there and then realized what was happening. That's why he left, because he had to try and stem the tide of the Sith. Because the banking group or the guild that was there, they had left Sidious and were siding with them, and that's why Sidious changed to going through the Republic and starting the clone army to fight his adversaries that way and creating the strife in the Civil War to give him some power.
Man,
it's like they realize it, where it's like, oh, those are the villains. It's like, well, they were the opposition, but they weren't actually the villains to the Republic. They were the villains to the Sith, and it was like, oh.
There's actually a lot going on there. You kind of lose track of it all because of George Lucas' inability to write dialogue.
Somebody was complaining about the prequels, and I described it. It's like, wouldn't it be great? And I described like the movies, and it's like, oh, it would be wonderful. We got those movies. Oh, we totally got those movies. It's just that we didn't have the dialogue making it sell the way that it could have been.
If Kasdan or any of those guys had been involved, right, it would have been
the best line of all time. I don't like sand.
It's so rough. It gets everywhere.
It gets everywhere. But I mean, when you hear that, the only time you ever really get mention of Darth Plagueis is actually in Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, when
they're riding off. Yeah.
What a better scene.
One of the best scenes in the entire movie is when they're at that opera or whatever, and you hear Palpatine tell the story of Plagueis the Wise to Anakin about how he could control, manipulate death, and yada yada yada, and you're like, who's this Darth Plagueis guy? But you never actually get to establish that was actually Palpatine's mentor, who he ended up killing. So you're actually like, huh. So you get that that would be my trilogy. That basically the prequel to a prequel.
And then the next time we see Palpatine is when he after the greatest line in the entire prequel series is that's how Liberty dies with thunderous applause. Is then when he goes straight hound on the Jedi, when he just takes them all out like poof poof poof. All right, who's next?
And you realize, wait, hold on, this motherfucker is powerful. Even Yoda can do shit. Then you're like, yeah. Which it was really funny because actually when I went to go see Endgame again on Monday,
he's called Darth Tyrannus, but I don't actually think he was a Sith apprentice.
Yeah, it's because he has Maul.
Yeah.
But so when you watch, I went to go see Endgame, and there was a trailer for Rise of the Skywalker. My buddy was like, "It's so stupid that they're bringing back Sidious." I'm like, "Why? Who knows? Maybe he actually did master."
What
Plagueis was trying to do, and he actually manipulated death, and he was actually able to come back. It makes sense.
Or that we've already seen the Jedi live a life beyond
exactly.
death.
So he's like, it's fucking dumb. They don't even know what they're doing. Like, no, if you actually pay attention to the pew pew, if you were just not just paying attention to pew pew pews and zoom zoom zooms of the fucking lightsabers, actually pay attention to the story, and you actually know what's going on, it all makes sense. He goes, it's dumb. They don't know. They're just desperate. I'm like, no, you don't know what you're talking about.
There's some great sound effects though. Those swords sound like laser vibrators.
I hope they yes. I hope they come up with even more cool lightsaber weapons, like in what was the one Rogue One where they had like the nunchucks in the middle. That were
in The Last Jedi.
The Last Jedi, where like the nunchucks or
I actually like the fact that they did that because the First Order finally developed technology that could counter, fucking lightsabers. Eventually, it made sense that they would research. They're like, we didn't even get any lightsaber battles in Last Jedi. I'm like, no, we got something cooler.
You got the biggest one.
You got better.
You never really see a lightsaber go against another lightsaber until the very end.
It was still the best.
It was still the best fucking fight
in all of Star Wars. Yeah, in all Star Wars.
It's fucking awesome. We didn't even get a lightsaber. But I'm like, no, we got something cooler than that. Is the fact that the Red Guard
that throne
has
room fight?
Technology that can actually counter.
Yeah, the guard room fight. Loved it.
I mean, you might have to actually go to Errol Flynn's Robin Hood in like 1936 for a better sword fight of any kind. I mean, that's like the greatest type of thing that goes on from that. I mean, it was magnificent.
And you get Rey pulling an Arya and dropping the
I was waiting for that.
pulls an Arya and drops the lightsaber to hit the dude in him. You're like, this is fucking dope. And then he
Wait, so
throws the lightsaber.
are you telling me?
No.
Are you telling me Benioff and Weiss ripped off of Star Wars too?
No, I thought you were going to go with the end scene when Ben goes, it's like, come on, join me and we'll rule. She's like, oh God. Come on.
Yeah, no.
Okay, so they ripped off twice. They ripped off twice. We can have it all. We can do it together. I don't care if we're both cousins and aunt and brother.
She's like, I don't need you.
I can't take anyone seriously. The only reason people hate The Last Jedi, it's only because of...
I thought it was really well executed.
Well, no.
And it carried the
The
storyline
reason
really
why a lot
well.
of people don't like that movie is because there's a lot of political undertones
Well,
into it.
that's the override. That's
the nature of it, because you have to understand the politics of how they got to.
Every movie is political in some way. But
Sure,
the other thing is
yeah.
that they cover underneath that by creating these plot holes that don't exist.
Yeah, there are no plot holes.
There are
in the
none.
movie.
That's how you
There
get
are
Rogue
none.
One.
There are
and shit
no
like that.
plot holes in the movie.
It's not so that like Luke Skywalker wouldn't walk off and just abandon everybody. I'm like, oh, who trained Luke? Yoda. Oh, that's kind of what he was doing when he found him.
Yeah, Obi-Wan. What did Obi-Wan do? What did Luke...
But he sent him to Yoda.
What every time a Jedi gets their asses kicked and they realize they
Everybody,
fucked up, they go into
anybody
exile.
does. I mean, even Leia, when she was like would have been the president of the Republic, and what was going on with that, she realized that she wasn't able to be successful in keeping the galaxy together, so she leaves to go to the Resistance. I mean, she did it in a different way, but she was like, no, I can't. I got to do something else. Han Solo, he realized that he failed with Ben. He went off to go smuggling and hiding with what he does.
Exactly, that's what everyone does.
They
in
went
this
back
trilogy.
to what
Like-
they know to do.
And they're like, oh, I really wanted to see a pew 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 fight with Luke taking on the entire Empire. I'm like, well, we got something better than that.
You got to see that.
You got to see that, and actually, the way he goes about it is even better.
To segue to more awesomeness, perhaps, have they released the teaser for Guardians of the Galaxy 3?
That's not going to be for a while.
not gonna be for a minute.
Guardians of the Galaxy 3 is not going to come out until I think 2022.
Oh my God, I'm going to be
I think
so
they
old
might
when
fast
that
track it
comes
to
out.
2021. I think they might because
They might fast track it because he's working on
Suicide Squad.
Suicide Squad 2
with casting.
fuck
and so that's going to be
that.
quick.
Well, no, actually,
Are they going to have Jared Leto in that one again?
No. No.
We don't know yet.
So is he the only one who never got like a double Joker?
Well, no, he's going to be in the I think was it
Mobius.
Gotham City Sirens movie and a few other movies. He might be in the Harley Quinn movie and some other stuff, but I really don't want.
It's I looked at it. It's not Gotham City Sirens. That one's the Birds of Prey.
Birds of Prey. I really don't want.
with Ewan McGregor.
I don't
Black
want.
Mask. I've been waiting for him
Yeah.
forever.
That's gonna be
Yes,
awesome.
that one looks so good.
That's a great casting.
Speaking of which, Batman. Is everyone
Oh
think?
my God, we didn't even. How do we forget about that?
That's
Well,
what I was trying to
I've been
kind of
trying
coax
to bring it up
you
for so
guys.
long.
I've been
Holy
trying to. I
shit,
kind
I
of picked up on that. I've been trying to coax you guys towards that
I'm
direction.
not gonna lie to you. I got shit faced the moment I found out about that. I'm like, okay, I can't deal with this.
Yeah, I know.
did
But
after
you know what?
Game of
Hold on,
Thrones.
hold on.
John's a
But
potato brain when he
But
gets.
after thinking about it, I mean, I don't really mind the casting. Robert Pattinson as Batman, a
He could be
younger
fine,
Batman,
yeah.
he could do a good job. Because I mean, generally speaking,
He's never not going to be Twilight Man to me.
That was over a decade
He's,
ago. He was,
I don't care.
He's
He's still- I
Cedric,
just-
he's Cedric Diggory. to
he
me.
was 23.
Oh, you're right. I will give you the Cedric Diggory.
The thing is, he's a fantastic actor. And
He really is. He's the
and
darling of the indie crowd.
And he hates Twilight just as much as all of us.
Yes.
The funniest thing I ever saw, though, is that, like, I don't know if it
Not
was
as much
Straight
as I
Onion.
hate Kristen Stewart, though.
It was Straight Onion, or if there was a petition of Kristen Stewart fans to get her to play Catwoman. It's like, let me
No.
tell you this right
No,
now.
no, no.
Oh, no,
No.
no.
Hell
Listen,
fucking no.
look,
I will riot.
She
you
would,
don't
she would
have to-
play an actual cat better than Catwoman.
Yes, that's true.
The
You don't-
only
you
time
don't
I
have
would
to
pay
waste-
to see it is if it was like a porn spinoff and she was shitting on somebody's
You don't
chest
have
like
to
a cat.
waste any time worrying about that. Robert
I'd watch that.
Pattinson will never be in another movie with her in the history of life because of what she did to him.
Oh God, no, it's terrible.
what did she do to
She
him?
boned the director, right?
She fucked
And
the
she-
director
and she
of
fake dated him.
Snow White and the Huntsman when she was shooting
Oh,
that
yeah,
when
yeah,
they were
yeah,
dating
yeah.
right before or after they were engaged or
Were they
whatever.
engaged?
It was like that moment to
Were
where
they
it was
real
going to
engaged
happen.
or just like
I
career
really don't
publicity
pay
engaged?
attention to stuff like that. But I mean,
Well, the way that he treated her after, they were really
did you
engaged.
guys ever see Cosmopolis, which is basically a movie of him riding around in a limousine?
No.
Why would I watch that?
I watched
It's a
Water
movie that
for
Robert
Elephants,
Pattinson-
and he was great.
And he's great. He's
The
actually
only
really
one
good.
I would watch that was Justin Timberlake riding around a limo. And that
He
was
could
Time.
totally pull off playing
Or Time
a
Snatcher or
younger
whatever.
Bruce
Time's
Wayne.
Up.
Is what I'm trying to get at. He could definitely play a good Bruce Wayne. I don't know about the action aspect playing Batman, but also you can
Out
get
of time. He's out of time.
you can get anyone to play Batman because all you have to do is dress him up and you're good to go. So he doesn't even have to be him.
No, because Val Kilmer was a terrible Bruce Wayne, and George Clooney was a awful Batman.
Bat nipples.
The only one I mean, George
Well,
Clooney,
see,
I
the
didn't
thing is,
mind. I grew up with George Clooney.
The funniest thing
I
is
think
like,
Ben Affleck played the best of both.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Ben
Go
Affleck-
up the stairs
Ben
now.
Affleck was
Ben Affleck,
great.
no.
Ben
Ben
Affleck was
Affleck
Fuck
great.
you. No, Ben Affleck can
Affleck-
eat a dick. I hate Ben Affleck. He's a horrible
you can
person.
hate him all you want. He was great as
great
He was
Batman.
Batman.
He was Batman. He
nailed
played
it.
he nailed it as the actual old man,
Especially
Batman,
old Batman.
and he played a great fucking Bruce Wayne. He nailed both parts,
And everybody
He's the
bitched about
old-
him getting cast too.
And he's but he actually and he's
Michael
the,
Keaton got the worst
he
of
did
it.
get the word,
Michael
but,
Keaton sucked.
No, but Michael Keaton was amazing Bruce Wayne. He wasn't a great Batman, but he played a great Bruce Wayne.
Everybody's begging for Batman tomorrow, though.
Batman Beyond with
him,
Michael Keaton,
with
absolutely.
his
I
old
mean,
man Bruce
it
Wayne.
would make sense. I mean, if what the current trajectory of what they're doing with the DCU right now, or DC Universe, what do you want to fucking call
It's
it?
the spaghetti. It's the spaghetti.
Yeah, they're kind of establishing
Throwing
there's a
everything
bunch-
against the wall.
They're just throwing it against the wall and see what works. And right now they're realizing, oh shit, Aquaman worked. Oh shit, Wonder Woman worked. Ooh, Wonder Woman 84 got delayed, by the way.
Well, the thing is that that's because they were asked, is it part of this? And they're like, they didn't answer.
They don't know because they
Just say this is the next movie.
They honestly,
and people will figure it out.
Warner Brothers never really knows what they're doing right anyways, but they didn't realize that Aquaman and Wonder Woman were actually
It's
gonna
also
work.
rumored that Matt Reeves will be considered for a couple of villains, including Penguin.
No, the worst thing is
There's three different villains right
Well,
now.
that they're
There's
doing
gonna be
possibly the
three
Penguin
villains.
and
Talking about
Catwoman.
Josh Gad being Penguin or something like that. That's the
Josh
last
Gad.
rumor I heard.
Josh Gad's like petition to be played Penguin. I think that would work.
That would be
I've
good.
heard some people say
I like
they say
Danny
if
DeVito.
that happens. Now
I
I'm
like
out.
Danny DeVito. Bring
But
him back.
it's like,
Fucking
why
old
are you
angry
going to
Penguin.
remake possibly the best non-Nolan Batman movie with doing the Catwoman and Penguin villains as that? I mean, if you're going to do them, don't bring them back together.
Well,
Yeah.
because it's too.
No,
like,
they should do a villain that we've never seen. Like try.
well, they can't use Black Mask, who would have been great.
That would have been my choice, yeah.
but
They
no,
can't do Hush because you need build up.
You would have to see that if they were smart.
The end of this trilogy, maybe.
If maybe Jeff Johns is out there pulling and trying to be a Kevin Feige, they could potentially someday do a Hush.
Jeff Johns doesn't get Batman though.
He doesn't.
Because
get
he was
better.
because he's like it's like no it's no big deal, we can kind of make him happy.
But now that Snyder's no longer involved, and they actually hit a home run, I think, with Shazam. They hit a home run with Wonder Woman. They hit a double with Aquaman.
well,
It's a
Aquaman,
$1 billion double.
It was a
was a
lot of
billion-dollar
it was a
double.
bases clearing double. is what it
Yeah,
was.
yeah.
yeah. But they did a good. Aquaman wasn't awful. It wasn't great. It
what
was
they-
Star Wars underwater.
But
liked
what
it.
they realized is that the DC characters very very much have specific tones that are different
that
from each other.
work. So
and
you-
they stayed true to the
To their
tone.
source material.
And well, Aquaman didn't, but they stayed true to Jason Momoa, and that
Yeah, they-
worked.
Which is better
Aquabro.
than Aquaman.
Which is better. Oh,
which is
absolutely,
better than
totally
Aquaman. It's
opposite.
Aquabro. So,
Bless
I mean,
Jason Momoa.
and Shazam. I don't know about y'all. I fucking love
Shazam was great.
I
I
actually
enjoyed it.
didn't
I
bother
liked it a lot.
watching that.
It was
one.
very good.
I don't know
Huh?
why. I didn't bother watching Shazam.
Well, it only made like $400 million worldwide. So,
But it was good, though.
It was good. It, was
fun.
great.
But
It
it's
was fun.
yeah.
It was big meets Superman.
Yeah.
So,
So
you know.
what DC's probably going to do is they're going to keep throwing shit up against the wall and see what works, and then whatever doesn't work, they're going to use Flashpoint Paradox to get rid of that shit and,
Well, no,
and reboot
Well,
it.
there's
But I
a
don't
big,
even
there's
think
big
it's gonna
talk
be
that the Flash is not going to
combined
happen
yet.
now.
I don't
How
even
dare
think it's
they?
gonna
How
be-
dare they not do that movie?
Because I actually liked Ezra Miller's. Well, I didn't really. I like him as a Flash. I'm
He
not
was
really
fine.
sure how Barry Allen is out of nowhere a geek. Like I don't know, but
It's like no, it's like
an
for,
anxious nerd.
Well,
like
for that Flash, they threw Barry Allen and Wally West together a little bit,
Yes,
and it was kind of
yeah.
weird.
Yeah, it
Well, that
was
was the
kind of
thing is they got Ryan Reynolds, and it's like he's not Hal Jordan. He would have been a great Guy Gardner.
yeah, he would have been.
Because it's like that way he could be the dick, but you still
But
like
they
him because
also
you like
they
Ryan Reynolds.
did. Snyder did cast Iris West, and he cut that from the movie. So they cut a lot of stuff. So we'll see what happens. I mean,
Well, they cut.
and then I just saw
Barbara
the trailer.
Gordon from-
I saw the trailer again for Joker, and I'm not really sure how I feel about that anymore.
It's a crime movie.
I initially liked.
okay with it.
I initially
Can't
liked-
wait.
I like the casting. I enjoy
Joaquin Phoenix.
Joaquin Phoenix's work.
that their version of Gotham City is how Gotham City should always look like, a city on the verge of collapse.
Exactly. And, I don't really like how Snyder basically made Gotham City.
They are.
across the bay.
They are. They have been. They always have been.
Have they really?
In comics history and everything, they've always. That's the one thing that I loved more about it, because it actually paints the duality between
the two characters,
even of the characters, of the cities, of everything.
So I don't
even
recall
greater.
them ever knowing that they were actually that
No,
close
they were.
to each other.
I mean, they don't.
Basically, Oakland and
in
San
the comics,
Francisco.
yeah, I mean,
That's exactly what it is. But it kind of just makes you feel like Batman's unnecessary or Superman's right there.
Exactly. You're just kind of like, why?
He can literally hear like
but
know what's going on.
but Superman's dealing with all the galactic and everything, and also Batman is like, I got my kryptonite bullets. Stay the fuck out of my city.
Like, fuck you.
What, does Superman not pay attention like Rhaegal doesn't? He's just like, oh, I'm not paying attention. The guy has super senses.
Well, I mean that's why. But I mean that's why most of Batman's characters are the smaller criminal,
Yeah.
and not
And
Superman.
underbelly.
faster than a speeding bullet.
Yes.
It's literally
oh
what
no,
they say.
I mean, don't get me wrong. It's like there should literally be no
Batman's
crime
dealing
in
with
the
the-
DC universe.
Yeah, Batman's dealing with the underbelly and all that stuff.
Su-
Kind of like he basically
Superman's
Spider-Man and Batman are dealing with the
stopping all
same shit.
crime.
So what's the deal? Is Henry Cavill 100% out?
No, we don't know that yet.
I hope not.
'Cause
That was-
I like him.
That was the best thing about the end of
Shazam
is that they
don't show
couldn't
his
get
face.
him, but it was only because of I think it was because of the mustache and the Mission Impossible. But he totally was going to do it, and they wanted him to get that. But that was a fantastic ending.
I like the way they're not showing his face. You're like, but it was the exact same costume.
Exact same suit.
Oh
so
no,
yeah.
it was
exact same suit. So
the
I
intent
don't
isn't.
think- I don't think Cavill's done because I mean he did release that really weird video and tweet of like
he doesn't want to be done. They just don't know what to do.
they don't know what to do right now. We can still get Man of Steel 2 and
I want it.
I want it.
I think Man of Steel's
I
underrated.
still think we deserve.
Well, this is the thing. I think I saw that. I think it's a great movie, but it's not necessarily a good Superman.
It's not a good Superman movie. No, not at all. Because Christopher Nolan was still involved at the time, and it was still kind of going for that whole dark.
Well, there was also
reality-based Superman, which they completely got rid of.
But there was
after-
also a big delay in that because the New 52 came out. Because the very first teaser shot, a picture of that is Cavill in the suit in the bank vault scene.
Yeah.
But it's with the red tights before they changed the uniform for New 52. So
Yeah.
they had to do some reshirts and then there's other things.
Yeah,
But
because I remember that was the
Christopher-
first image of
yeah.
Superman with him holding
with
the
the
bank
bank,
vault
yeah.
door open. I
But
remember that.
the of the things that work in that movie, the music, the new Superman theme. It's like I never thought I'd do anything other than the John Williams theme. But that new the Hans Zimmer.
Hans Zimmer does
His
the score.
his
very
Superman
uplifting.
theme. It's like
I-
that's the epic, the big. It's like
I
no, that's
listened.
good.
I listened to that score. I remember when that score first came out. I actually listened to that score at the gym. I'm like, that got me pumped. I'm like, yes, awesome.
And that's one of the best things about Justice League is when
The blending of the themes.
Whedon brought in Danny Elfman, and he uses his
Batman
Batman
theme.
He uses his Flash theme from the TV show.
Yeah.
And he uses the Hans Zimmer Superman. He uses all the themes and then builds them together for a Justice League thing going forward, which was a fantastic work by that.
But well, we'll never get the. Actually, no. Now that I actually watched, just completely left field, but I just watched a video about how the Donner cut of Superman 2 came to be. I still think we're gonna get a Snyder cut, so we'll see what happens.
We're not. But
We
I mean,
will.
but
It'll
again,
never happen, but I wish.
that took 3 decades.
Doesn't
3.5
matter.
decades
We will
to
get
happen.
the Snyder cut in 3 decades. It'll fucking happen someday.
So I have something to stay alive for.
You do. We're gonna get the Snyder cut someday. And I know what, as much as I trashed what Snyder did, I want to see his cut.
Where it
'cause
was
I
going.
Kind of go where it was going.
Well, no, we know where it's going. He was doing Injustice. He was doing Superman. He was
yeah.
doing
You were-
Brightburn
you were
with
gonna-
Lois.
we were
going to
get Brightburn. No, we were going to actually get
But I
Superman
think
being the
that's-
villain of the first. He was supposed to be the villain of the first movie, leading to Darkseid.
Oh no! It was. That's where I think that's where the executives got in with. It's like, nope, you can't do this. But he was going to still lay all the groundwork. So if he ever got to,
Because you had Batman in you had Batman in the black suit and all that stuff.
Well,
and,
I mean, that's why the dreams and the visions and all the other.
I wanted it
things,
so bad.
Which
was
again,
Injustice 2
it's-
storyline, or Injustice 1, the fighting game.
It's Injustice 1, but I mean, he's still bad in
But
Injustice 2.
Yeah.
it's
I didn't play
not
Injustice 2.
anything
I
that
did.
most people would want. But at least if he was left alone to tell that, it would be a thing that existed. It's like, oh no, okay, I get that. It's not the Superman story, but it's a story that makes sense with the people that did it.
Yeah, it would have been great. I would actually.
I think that's the mistake that DC Warner got. But I mean,
one or too many suits, too many people trying to come in.
Warner has 4 directors that they go to, and Zack Snyder's on the list. They go to Christopher Nolan, and then they go to the Wachowskis, who don't want to do much of anything, and then they go to Ben Affleck, and then they go to Snyder. That's their list of people that they start with.
Ben Affleck's a great director. I love Argo.
Which is totally why he did Batman, because it's like, oh, you owe me now.
Yeah, pretty much. And then he backed down. He doesn't want to direct. But I like Matt Reeves as the director, so we'll see what happens.
Well, it's because he can't stay sober long enough to do that. He might be able to write one movie, he might be able to direct the movie, he might be able to show up, but he can't do all 3 of those at the same time.
But I don't mind Rob Pattinson after kind of looking at it. I think he'll do a good job.
Well, that's the only. The only thing is that it becomes young Batman. So when you reintroduce Superman, is he going to be just like 22-year-old Superman, because that's that dynamic. It's very important that Batman is older than Superman, to where there's a reason why he doesn't trust what he stands for, why he doesn't believe this, because, look, I've seen terrible, awful things, and I've been fighting it longer than you've been around.
Yeah.
So since it's old school Batman and it takes place in the past, could we possibly just get Ben Affleck come back too?
Yeah, no, we can still get back.
I mean, look, somebody backs up the money truck, which is what Marvel has done, because Perlmutter wanted to not pay anybody. Feige got control. They paid, and that's why they got to keep the actors. DC and Warner Brothers can always bring those guys back.
Yeah,
and
always.
And then that would be a pretty, have Pattinson's Batman be an earlier one, previous.
A prequel.
Whatever this is.
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be like Batman Year One, isn't it?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, if it's year one, that'd be great. And,
Which would explain the presence of Catwoman, explain the presence of Penguin, because then they're more of just like criminals.
Yeah.
And then that would be a good way to do that.
So we'll see what happens, but it'll be fine. It's called The Batman. We're finally actually getting a title where it's actually called Batman. So,
but they do need to do Batman Beyond with Michael Keaton
for sure.
Before,
that would be my top priority.
Before they get the opportunity to miss that, because everybody would be like
multiverse. And everything.
Well, it doesn't even have that's in the future. I mean, just put that.
Oh, it's an old man Batman.
Yeah, it's old man Batman. Just
basically making it all within the same universe.
Well, I mean, you can definitely put it in the same universe as the Burton Batman movies.
Well, do you think they would stick to the actual origin of Terry McGinnis, when you find out later in the Justice League epilogue that they took Bruce Wayne's DNA and made a kid without even telling anybody?
But I also liked the aesthetic of the Burton ones, though. Like, they had that kind of more comic book quirky feel to it. I liked that personally, especially the Penguin one.
It's very Tim Burton.
It's an Art Deco. With that,
I like
what
you do with Gotham. And
I
honestly, Warner Brothers and DC liked it as well, because they basically ripped that off for the animated series, which is, for me, how I actually really got into Batman, because of the animated show, which is actually arguably one of the best animated shows ever.
Where Harley Quinn originated.
Yes. Harley Quinn came from that, and also that they still use the same music.
Jimmy Olsen came from the radio show. Some of the things that we always associate as like, oh, it's been there from the beginning, and it's always been that. It's like, no, it wasn't there from the beginning, and it was added in a different medium.
Yeah,
which
I'm
is
always
actually goes to show that
surprised.
Warner's and DC actually they actually listen to the fans sometimes.
Sometimes.
Well, no, I mean that character, Harley Quinn, Arlene Sorkin, who was the voice of that, it just like took off, and then her first appearance was actually in the Batman Adventures comic book based off of the series.
Yeah.
And then they said, "Oh, well, no, we're going to bring her into the whole thing, because like people like her."
Well, guys, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up so we can go ahead and do our little sports segment as well.
Because I have zero to contribute to sports, guys. Sorry.
Yeah, you can go ahead and get out of here if you like. So
Not mad.
We're going to go ahead and close that out. So thank you guys for listening to Simon Says. I don't know. I'm going to call this Simon Says Pop. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But thank you for listening, guys. Going to do your little send-offs. Anything that you want to add?
I'll be back soon.
See you in a minute.
See you guys next week with something else to bitch about, guys.
Maybe positive things.
I try to be positive this episode.
No, not you. I mean, all of us.
With Game of Thrones gone, now we got to find something else to be negative
Yeah,
about.
guys, come on. What else are we going to rip
Aladdin's
apart?
this weekend.
I'm going to go see Aladdin on Friday, so we'll see what happens with that.
Let me know.
And then we can talk about John Wick 3. Too.
And we can actually finally talk about John Wick 3.
All right, I'm
by the
going to
way,
go see a movie tonight. It's John Wick or Aladdin. Which one should I roast next
Aladdin
week?
doesn't come out till Friday, but John Wick 3,
John
go
Wick.
see that. It's awesome. Fucking
That means I have to go watch the first two
because I didn't
at
realize
home.
that Stars actually.
No, actually, you didn't.
What I didn't realize is that they're actually Stars
You know.
doing a John Wick series based on the Continental, which will be fucking awesome. So, we'll go and lead into that
All
next
right,
week.
for your guys' sake, my homework will be to watch John Wick 1, 2, and then go see 3 tomorrow on my other
I've not
day.
seen John Wick. We'll do it for you. Well, never mind.
You act like I have time. I'm a full-time student,
Or
and I work
testicles.
full-time.
Our testicles. Good
Yeah, I know.
point. Ha. All right, guys. Everyone have a great week.
Bye, darlings.
Bye-bye.